Good afternoon and welcome. Or should I say good morning, as it is 11:59 a.m. still. But we are here on a rainy, gloomy Saturday early afternoon as the Huskies from Flint Hill School in Oakton, Virginia made the early morning trip down I-95 on the banks of the James River to take on the undefeated 4-0 Trinity Episcopal Titans. I am Rick Hamlin, joined here by class of 2027, my main man, JJ Welcher. JJ, we've been up here a few times this year. What are you looking forward to today on this rain-soaked afternoon?
Well, in this game, the Titans are the clear favorites. It's 4-0, Flint Hill 0-4. Flint Hill have given up over 100 points, and the Titans have scored over 150. So in this game, the Titans are the clear favorites. I'm looking for the Titans to get the running game going like they have been all season on this rainy day. It will be very hard to pass the ball. The Titans have taken the last two matchups in this series as well, so they'll be looking to get a third.
They will. I mean, those have been close games. 2 years ago, these teams met in the Visa semifinals. A last-second field goal by Evan Goldschmidt led the Titans to a 2-point win on that one. Definitely one of the highlights, I think, in our 5 years of TESPN broadcast. I know it was a heartbreaker for the Huskies that day. And then last year, up at Flint Hill, Trinity was able to win 22-20. So they have played close games. Looks like Flint Hill, they have struggled in the early going against, I think, a tough schedule. But the Titans have just been so good defensively in the last 3 weeks, the defense hasn't given up a point. I mean, Woodbury Forest did score 7, but that was on a scoop and score. So Fork Union did not score. Woodbury, as I mentioned, scored, but not on the Titan defense. And then last week, St. Michael the Archangel was shut out 42-0 by Trinity. So I know, every time we get to see this Titan defense, the way they fly around, the way they hawk the ball, it's really just a pleasure to watch them play. And the Huskies are going to have really good ball security today in this wet field. All right, we're going to pause 1 second for the national anthem. All right, lovely Star-Spangled Banner there, and looking out, not a very big crowd, at least at this point today, but I mean, it is raining very hard, and this is one of those days, JJ, really fun if you're a player, not fun as a spectator, but fun for us up in the press box here. We're nice and dry, but I think the players, this is one of those games that no matter the outcome, they'll remember just because it's rare. Maybe a couple times your whole high school career you get to play in a game where the conditions are this dramatic. But, yeah, definitely not a day for the spectators, and there aren't too many out there. But I'm glad that we're able to bring you the sights and sounds so that you're hopefully warm and dry wherever you're watching or listening to us on TESPN. And the opening kickoff is going to be received by Trinity, and Flint Hill setting it at the 40-yard line. The Huskies, white helmets, white jerseys, and navy pants. Titans, green helmets, green jerseys, white pants. Kickoff is a short one, bounces at the 15, where it's scooped up, and a fumble already, still loose, and it's picked up by Flint Hill and brought down at the 1-yard line. And JJ, you and I talked about ball security in the open, and literally the opening kickoff, Deuce Mason fumbled it, and it was the Huskies' number 23, Preston Borden, who scooped it up and almost scored. Devion Brown made the touchdown-saving tackle there.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest starts I've ever seen watching a football game. Deuce caught it. It seemed like he had a lane. It was great blocking by the Titans. Just dropped the ball, couldn't scoop it up the first time. And like you said, Flint Hill player picked it up and almost scored, if not for Devion Brown's tackle at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, that is, if you're an underdog like Flint Hill coming down here at 0-4, facing a 4-0 Titan team, that is exactly the shot in the arm you need in this early going to give you some belief to try and pull this upset. Incredible field position for Flint Hill as they'll take over at the 2-yard line. So that snap is fumbled, but a good job by the quarterback, Rudy Ernst, to fall on it, or it could have been literally the first two plays would have been trading turnovers, but good job by Ernst. It will be a loss of 6, though, and make it 2nd and goal from the 8.
We've already seen the rain play a big effect to this game. 2 fumbles on the 2 first plays of the game. It is going to be very interesting to see what happens in this situation. Flint Hill is not a good running team. They usually pass the ball, and they're inside the 5 now, so you kind of have to run the ball versus this very tough Titans front 7, who is very big and flies to the ball to make tackles. So, like I said, it's going to be hard for Flint Hill to get these points on the board, even though they had this great field position.
So there's a little delay there. I don't think either team called a timeout. I think they were just trying to get a dry football. And, yeah, the clock is running, so no timeout there. Ernst in the shotgun on 2nd and goal. And actually this time it's a direct snap to, and it's a touchdown Flint Hill. It was thrown there actually by Alexander Mahmoud. And after we just talked about, it was Ty Harris with the catch there for the Huskies' early touchdown. We just talked about how this Trinity team had not conceded a defensive touchdown in the last 3 weeks, but just under 90 seconds into this first quarter, now obviously aided by incredible field position, but the Titans defense does concede a touchdown, and Flint Hill has got to be thrilled with how this thing has started as Nathan Jacobson comes out to attempt the point after. And the kick is good. I believe there's a flag on the play. Extra point good, and there's also going to be a personal foul against the Titans. I think they used the center as leverage. This is a call I actually saw recently at the end of the Broncos-Colts game. I don't know if you saw that, JJ, where the Colts missed what would have been a game-winning field goal, but a Broncos player used the center as leverage, and they got a 15-yard penalty. Colts got another crack at it and won. I think that was in week 2 of the NFL season.
Yep, I think you're right.
So not only does Flint Hill take the 7-0 lead, but they're going to get to kick this off from the Titan 45. And, I would think some sort of a squib or maybe even risk an onside kick here. Worst case, Trinity's still not going to have great field position due to where this is being kicked off from. And some kind of low kick on the ground in this wet field with a wet ball. We've already seen ball security be such an issue. I think Flint Hill might try and do something like a squib type of a kick here. We'll see.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You do not want to kick this through the back of the end zone. You have this great kicking opportunity and kick it through the back of the end zone is just a waste of this field positioning that you have on this kickoff.
Yeah, the way he set it up on the tee, it does look to me like he's set it up to maybe do something like that. Well, no, I stand corrected, and they did the opposite of what both of us expected and did indeed kick it through the end zone, which I actually think is a break for the Titans to get it to come out to the 20. Down 7-0, and it's pretty rare that you receive the opening kickoff and yet you're losing before your first play from scrimmage offensively.
Yeah, you just gotta give credit to the Flint Hill offensive coordinator there. Notice the size mismatch on the outside, and the quarterback's thrown for 5-6 touchdowns this year, so why not try it again? He's been playing very well. Threw a perfect ball, in my opinion, right to where only the receiver could get it, brought it down, and got the toes in bounds, and put up Flint Hill 7-0, which most people did not expect.
Titans hand off to Carson Parks on the first play from scrimmage, and it's a positive play as Carson is able to run for 18 yards on that first play. Brought down by Patrick Willits, the sophomore safety, but great opening run there by Carson Parks, who's had a great season so far. Parks is the leading rusher on the Titans with, coming into this game, 399 yards on the season and 7 touchdowns already in just 4 games. So that rush takes him over 400 yards rushing already, not even the halfway point of the season. It's Parks again, goes off right tackle. Good, sure tackle there made by number 5, Ty Harris. I believe Harris was the touchdown scorer for the Huskies on the other side of the ball. So we see Harris now make a big play defensively, because I think if Carson had broken that tackle, he would have gone a long way.
Yeah, he's very fast, very powerful. The last time I think I've seen somebody with that much power run the ball is when Trey Grant came here 2 years ago, I think. So, like I said, they're imposing this run game early, which is what you have to do in this rainy weather, and they get another free 5 yards there. So Carson should be able to pick up the first down.
Yeah, good job with the cadence there by quarterback Deke Scogan, and a couple of Huskies jumped off sides. So to move the ball out to the 47 of Trinity, just shy of midfield, right in front of our vantage point here in the Aycock Stadium press box, and it'll be 2nd and 2. Good hole for Parks. He gets the first down. There's
run from Carson Parks down to the 45. That's going to be another Titans first down.
And, yes, it was an 8-yard gain by Carson into Huskies territory. First down Trinity at the Flint Hill 45. Sorry, I paused for a second because I thought I saw a flag thrown, but I actually think it's just a football being thrown over on the Flint Hill sidelines. Caught my eye as their quarterbacks are trying to stay loose and really just adjust to these temperatures as well.
It was a great play call on that to pick up that first down. They created a numeric overload on the right side where they had 3 blockers plus a tight end blocking 2 Flint Hill defenders.
Another great run by Parks. He breaks the tackle on the linebackers and gets all the way close to the 20-yard line. And this drive has covered 60 yards for the Titans, and it's been all on the ground with Carson Parks, plus a penalty thrown in there. But Titans have gone from their own 20 to the Flint Hill 20 in just about 5 plays, all runs by Carson Parks.
Well, we see the defense also going for the ball there. They've seen the fumble early that Deuce had, and they're trying to force another one, which is what you have to do in the situation in the rain. Forcing fumbles and getting turnovers will be big for either defense.
We'll see if Titans look to put it in the air here. Nope, another running play to Carson. Good job by Flint Hill sniffing that one out. Just 2 yards. I think that's the shortest run that Carson has had so far. Couldn't quite tell who the tackler was, but I know Owen Hobbs was definitely one of the guys who was in on that. So it'll be 2nd and 8. Quarterback Deke Scogan looking over to his offensive coordinator, Malcolm Bell, to get the play call. Play clock is down to 5, and they do get it off. Once again, it's Carson Parks. Another positive gain, but only about 3, so it'll be 3rd and 5 from the 15.
This is a tough situation here for Coach Bell. You want to keep it on the ground in these rainy conditions, and your running back has been running well, but 3rd and 5, and you've had 2 downs that really haven't gone anywhere with the run game. So you're in a conflict. If I should pass this and risk maybe the ball is slipping out of receiver's hands, slipping out of Deacon's hands and resulting in an interception, or keep it on the ground and maybe not pick up that first down.
Big 3rd and 5 here. It's Parks again. Steady diet of Carson Parks. He's going to be, I think, just short of the first down. It's going to be, looks to me, JJ, like 4th and about half a yard here. There is a timeout as one of the Huskies is slow to get up. I think this is a no-brainer. You go for it. I mean, it's 4th and inches. You've been able to run the ball effectively this entire drive. And it would be big for the Titans to respond to giving up that early touchdown.
Yeah, this also isn't good for Flint Hill having a player down. You look on their sideline, it's very thin. Only about 7, 8 people on the sideline that are not in the game actively. So having a player go down, that leaves your sideline even more windled. And with this running game that's going to be happening all game, it's going to tire players out, and they're going to need to have their energy and have bench players.
Yeah, I mean, at this level of high school football, depth in numbers is so crucial. Obviously, this is a sport, a violent sport, that injuries are inevitable. And like you said, JJ, this Flint Hill roster, pretty thin. Yeah, there are not a whole lot of guys over there on the sidelines. And so they really can't afford to lose any more players. Titan team has good depth. I think especially, for a school our size, it's pretty awesome how many great football players are at Trinity, and that's a huge credit to Coach Mickens and his staff that so many people want to come be part of this. But even still, I mean, there are a handful of frontline dudes that if they were to go down, the look of this team would change drastically. So let's hope and pray everybody stays healthy out here today and every day. And it will be 4th and inches. Titans come out with Devion Brown here on the near side. Deuce Mason to the top. They got a 2 tight end set. And Carson Parks still in the backfield. Got to think it's going to Carson again, and it is. And I don't know. I think he did just get it with the second effort, but it's going to be really close. He did get it. So that was the shortest run that Parks has had of his 8 or 9 carries on this drive, but it still was just enough. Didn't need much. Good job by the Flint Hill front to disrupt the blocking. But great second effort by Carson Parks to get that crucial first down just inside the 10.
Yeah, it was an interesting play call there. They had 2 Titans trying to block 3 Flint Hill linebackers, or linebackers and D linemen. So someone's going to come free, and that free person hit Carson Parks. But Carson, with the second effort, was able to lunge forward and get that first down.
Parks spins off the first tackle and gains 5 yards. Just inside the 5. Definitely Flint Hill, though, is doing a better job rallying to the football. I think that they're seeing what we're seeing, that each and every play it's going to number 7, Carson Parks, and they're really committing to stop the run. I mean, at some point, you got to think that's going to open things up for the duo of Devion Brown and Deuce Mason, the Titans' 2 very talented receivers. But in these conditions, I think Coach Mickens and Coach Bell are loath to put the ball up in the air right now, and why would you when the running game is working so well? Carson Parks close to the goal line. His legs are still churning, and he's in. Touchdown, Titans. JJ, that was an 80-yard drive, all on the ground, all Carson Parks, plus 1 penalty thrown in the mix. So by my count, Carson ran for 75 yards on that drive. That gets him to 474 yards rushing on the season. And already in the first quarter of the 5th game, Carson Parks scores his 8th touchdown of the season. The senior is making it happen for the Titans.
And this is what's so special about Carson Parks. He ran 80 yards down the field and finished off that drive with a hard run. He trucked somebody at the goal line and was able to lunge forward, fall forward, which is what good running backs do. You fall forward. You never fall backwards. And that allowed him to get that touchdown. And for his 8th, like you said, which is a lot in 5 games. That's at least a touchdown and a half, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And he may not be done scoring today. as the extra point by Evan Goldschmidt is good. And Evan, I'm sure seeing these Flint Hill Huskies brings back fond memories for him. His game-winning kick in the state semifinals that I mentioned earlier. Evan was the kicker as just a freshman then. He's a junior now, and his leg has gotten a lot stronger since that since 2 years ago. But no, I was going to say that drive, it covered 80 yards, but it also took about 5.5 minutes off of the clock. And for this Flint Hill team, which we've already said, it doesn't have a ton of depth, it had to be pretty demoralizing just to have the Titans on the ground, smash mouth, old school football in this very much smash mouth, old school football conditions of a really pouring rain.
And you gave this Titans defense a lot of time to rest. So now we're going to see what really happens when you're not inside the 5-yard line. And when it's maybe about 80 yards, 70 yards to go, get that touchdown versus this Titans defense.
And Evan Goldschmidt's kick was along the ground, but a flag flies, and I think it's going to be offsides on the kicking team, which is just not a smart penalty. I mean, I get that you're excited, you want to get down there and make a play, but taking off that split second early doesn't really give you that much of an advantage. You know, I kind of can get it where if it's maybe a 3rd and long situation and a defensive end tries to time up the snap count and jumps a split second early, like it's not ideal, but you can get it. But on a kickoff, there's really no reason to ever jump offside on a kickoff.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Evan didn't get great leg on it, though, so, you know, he actually might be happy to get a second bite of the apple here. And this kick is fielded ultimately by Daniel Chakray. That was a low line drive right at Chakray, and he bobbled it at first, but did well to fall on it. It'll be decent field position for Flint Hill. Starting at their own 31-yard line. But definitely not the field position they had on that first drive where they took over at the 2.
Yeah, that was a great kick in my opinion. In these conditions, that's a pretty impossible ball to catch. It knuckles in midair. So, like I said, it's pretty impossible to catch. It's a good job by the Flint Hill recoverer to just jump on the ball, not try and pick it up and do something, like, spectacular.
This time, Flint Hill hands off, and they're going nowhere. That's a loss of yardage as Sadiq Pone got into the backfield and looked like a loss of 1 or 2 there for the Huskies, who, as you said, JJ, for the most part this year have relied on the pass. They got a very talented wide receiver, Ty Harris. We saw him get a touchdown earlier. Ty is a University of Richmond football commit, as well as the starting point guard for the Huskies basketball team. They do look to throw here. Mahmoud looks for Harris, but it's picked off. No, it's dropped. It is dropped, and Marquise Bullock was going to take that one to the house. Bullock will probably have nightmares about dropping that one. He jumped that route perfectly, and I think on a different, drier day, we would be kicking an extra point right now, but Bullock couldn't quite hold on to it.
Yeah, we saw him make that diving interception right on the sideline 2 weeks ago. Just in these rainy conditions, it is going to be a lot harder to get these interceptions. And like you said, if it was in dry conditions, I think we would be kicking for the extra point right now.
Yeah, Marquise Bullock, he's shown me in this early part of the season that he's a real ball hawk. As well as his twin brother, Marquez, they both are flying around back there. All right, so should be 3rd and long. I think they're. Yeah, it looks like the on-field, the contraption that says what down it is going straight from 2 to 4. And so a little bit of confusion. You might be able to see that on the far sideline, the Flint Hill sideline there. the three disappeared, JJ.
Yeah, there's a bunch of weird stuff happening in this game. The first play fumble, and then this thing is not working on the sideline. So, yeah, very, very weird game so far. I think they came up with a solution. Like, if it's third down, just turn it sideways. I think that's the solution they came up with.
That's creative. We got two very strong academic schools here, so between the two, we came up with a good solution. All right, 3rd and long, and it looks like Mahmoud is going to run, and I think he got it, JJ. That was a really – he turned on the Jets there, and Alexander Mahmoud ran for – it was 3rd and 12. He ran for 13 and picked up that first down for Flint Hill.
Yeah, the Titans sent an extra linebacker, and the other two dropped into zones, splitting out, which gave the quarterback a lane to run up the middle. And on that play, you want your defensive tackles to, like, cover up those holes, get in, and reach a big arm out there and grab the quarterback before he can get through those holes. And if he does, like you've just seen, he runs for an easy 10 to 12 without anybody being in the area.
Play clock is down to 5, and Flint Hill is going to have a hard time getting this play off in time. Now they send a man in motion, and the play clock has expired, and indeed it will be a delay of game on Flint Hill. And the whole operation there seemed a little bit off. Maybe Mahmoud, having just run, maybe was a little fatigued. I don't know, but that whole thing didn't seem too crisp there. So it'll be 1st and 15. Again, the play clock running down to 5. And they do get the snap off with 3 on the clock, and it's batted down. Mason Love was able to get a hand on that. And, I mean, Mason's just had an incredible season so far. He has been living in the backfield of opposing teams, and he's also able to get out in coverage. I mean, look at where Mason's lined up now, a good 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but he's had a bunch of sacks, and he's just flying around all over the place. He'll be playing football at Howard University next year, and flag's going to go down. And it is going to be offsides on the Titans. And, you know, it's funny. I just said a minute ago that an offsides on a 3rd and long for a defensive end trying to time up the snap count is kind of understandable, and it just happened.
Yeah.
As Maddox Patrick got a little overly exuberant there. So it's now going to be 2nd and 10. Mahmoud has some decent protection. He's hit by Ben Rosen. It's caught by Ty Harris. And for the 2nd time in this first quarter, Harris gets into the end zone, and Flint Hill regains the lead. That's Harris's 6th touchdown of the season. And unfortunately for the Titans, Khalid Rayner, who had good coverage, just slipped on this wet field.
Yeah, we see Mason Love, one of the leaders of this defense, very upset with his DBs there because defensive line did their job, linebackers did their job, kept the quarterback in the pocket, didn't allow him to roll out like he did the first time. And he just kind of tossed it up there, really. It wasn't a strong throw and didn't really lead the receiver anywhere. The DBs just slipped, and he was able to catch it for a 2nd touchdown of the day.
Extra point is good, and the holder there, which I believe was number 3, Mahmoud, the quarterback, did a nice job. That snap was a little high, and in these wet conditions, probably a little hard to handle, but Mahmoud really did a nice job of catching it, corralling that snap, and getting the ball down so that his kicker, Nathan Jacobson, could convert for the 2nd time here today. So 14-7 Flint Hill. Titans in a position that I don't think they've been in all year, which is behind. At North Cross, which is the closest game Trinity's had, but they still, had a 36-7 lead and maybe took the foot off the gas a little. And North Cross got a couple late touchdowns to make the score look a little closer than it really was. And then in games 2, 3, and 4, Trinity has scored early and often and been scored against none. So this is a little bit of game pressure that this Titan team hasn't felt yet this season. And credit to Flint Hill for coming down here ready to go. They don't look at all demoralized despite the 0-4 start. Good kickoff there. Will roll into the end zone.
Kickoff by Jacobson into the end zone for a touchdown.
JJ, I would look for Trinity to continue to keep the ball on the ground for the most part. They may throw a little bit this possession, but there's still, there's 3 minutes left in the first quarter, so it's not time to panic and get away from the game plan, which clearly the game plan today is to keep the ball on the ground. What do you think, though? Will we see any throws? What do you think?
I don't think we'll see any throws. There's no reason to throw the ball here. Your running back has been running very well all game, and there's, like I said, no reason to throw the ball here. Your defense is going to get their footing. They're going to start getting stops. The offense just has to keep doing what they're doing, keep the ball on the ground, and keep trusting that their defense will eventually make some plays.
Well, so far we are correct as they do go right back to the ground to Carson Parks, who picked up 2 yards. And we haven't even seen C.J. Gray yet, the other tailback for the Titans, who in his own right has had a great season with over 200 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns coming in. Going to have a false start on Trinity, and that's what you don't need. It was, especially when you're relying on the running game. You want to stay ahead of the chains. 2nd and 13. I still think you definitely can run the ball, but this is just not the position that you want to be in. I didn't see who jumped, but
It was Deuce on the outside.
Well, that's even worse
Yeah.
because, it's one thing if it's an O lineman a little overly exuberant to put a hat on a hat and block, but the wide receiver, when you're going to be running anyway, why are we jumping, Well, we are throwing. Out to Devion Brown, always a good option. Brown is able to pick up about 7 yards on the play. So with 2nd and 13, it's going to end up being 3rd and 6. First pass of the game for Trinity comes with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. And Devion Brown, who, as we know, as Titan Nation knows, last week broke the all-time record for all of Central Virginia receiving yards in a career, a record that had stood since 2003. And truly, Devion Brown is one of the greatest players ever from the 804, and he continues to show that. And we got to appreciate all the moments we get to see him wearing the green, blue, and white of the Titans. On 3rd and 6, it's Hugh Stone with the catch out of the backfield. Huey fights for, and I believe is going to get the first down. That's a great effort there by Hugh Stone. That's just, I know how much time he's put in the weight room. He doesn't get that first down a year ago.
Yeah, that's a hard piece of running there. He doesn't get the ball much. Mainly the Titans don't really get the ball much, but when they do get it, they run hard, and they show a lot of fight. And if he didn't get that first down there, the Titans would have been looking at a very difficult situation.
Hugh is committed to Carnegie Mellon, great D3 academic institution up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he'll be going next year. And good run there. That is our first look at C.J. Gray today. And C.J. runs for 3.
I think the hesitation to put him in the game may have been like the fumble problems that he's had recently. He's not known for fumbling, but in these past couple weeks, he's had a couple of instances where he's fumbled the ball away, put it on the ground. He had two weeks ago versus Woodbury. So I think the coaches just wanted to ease him into the game, let him see the older person run first, and then get him into the game, get his legs on.
Play clock down to 5. Hugh Stone goes in motion. They throw it out to Devion Brown. He breaks a tackle and another, and he's all the way out near midfield. I'm a little surprised they didn't throw a flag there. I mean, he was clearly well out of bounds and got shoved down. He gets it actually, looks like right on the midfield stripe. No, they're going to put it at the 49 of Trinity with 4 seconds left in the first quarter. And JJ, I'm laughing a little bit because I talked to CJ Gray. You mentioned he had a fumble or two, and I talked to him a couple times this week and gave him a hard time about the fumbles, and he did not like it. He was like, my whole career I've never fumbled. Like, look, there's a first time for everything. I never did it before. I'll never do it again. So here he is holding on tight, getting across midfield, and that is the end of the first quarter as CJ Gray picked up 3 that time. But, it is funny in a sport like football where you do everything right for your whole career. As a running back, you put it on the ground one time, and then you got your teacher teasing you about it. And, CJ takes a lot of pride in what he does, and he assured me there will be no more fumbling, nor had there been prior to putting the ball on the ground against Woodbury like you just mentioned. So I tell you what, if you don't fumble today, then that says a lot because this is the kind of day, and we've already seen a couple of fumbles in the first quarter. So that first quarter, JJ, give us your thoughts.
My thoughts is that Coach Miggins is not going to be happy with the way that his team is playing right now. Coach Wally will not be happy with the way that his team is playing right now. Coach Bell will be pretty happy. The one drive that you've had, you were able to take it down, take a bunch of time off the clock and get a touchdown. But back to Coach Miggins and Coach Bell. I mean, Coach Miggins and Coach Wally. Coach Wally's not going to be happy with his DBs that they're giving up these big plays because the defensive line and front seven is doing their part. But the DB is just letting the team down. And Coach Mickens, the head coach overall, is not going to be happy. He expects his team to come out and dominate no matter who they play. They could be going against like an NFL team, and he expects them to dominate. And they haven't been doing that so far. So they're going to be looking to ramp up the intensity and get a couple stops and get some more touchdowns.
All right. So second quarter about to begin. On a 2nd and 7, handoff to CJ Gray. CJ's going to get the first down as he exploded for a 10-yard gain. Some good downfield blocking too, and now we're going to get a late flag. And a couple guys were kind of face-to-face jawing a little bit. So also CJ limps off the field. I hope that he's okay. All right, so it's going to be after the play, a personal foul on the Titans, and it'll march the ball back into Trinity territory at the 46. Trinity calls a timeout, and Coach Mickens is using this as an opportunity to talk to the head official. And my guess is what he's saying is, and a lot of times this is what happens, JJ, in these personal foul, situations where he's saying their guy did it first. Their guy was in our guy's face, but they see the guy that retaliated, and I assume that's the point he's making.
Yeah, it was great blocking downfield by Aronde. He was pushing his guy pretty far back. Even after the whistle, there was a little bit extra. And then, once again, the Flint Hill person got in his face first, but it's not who hits first, it's who is last who gets seen. And, the Titans get hit with a penalty that really pushes you back a lot more than you would want to be pushed back.
So because it was a post-play penalty, it will be 1st and 10 still. As opposed to like a 1st and 25 or something like that. So it is Trinity ball back in their own territory. CJ Gray is working things out over on the sidelines. I think he's fine. I think he just got hit in an unfortunate area and has to walk that off. Deke Scogan's pass is complete to Deuce Mason. Deuce's first catch of the day is a 6-yard gain and takes the ball back into the Huskies' territory.
Yeah, every time the Titans have passed so far, it's just been a short screen pass basically kind of like a run to set up the blocking and get your athletes out in open field to where they don't have to try and run up the middle where all the big guys are.
Yeah, so I think by my count, Deke Scogan is 4 for 4. But you're right, all safe passes. And Carson Parks, another good hard run, but a good tackle there by number 21 for the Huskies, David Parks Johnson. Parks Johnson is a senior on this Husky team, and it's definitely been an improvement in the run defense by Flint Hill since that first drive. So it's 3rd and 2. Play action. He's looking for Devion Brown. Caught! A great pass and catch for a gain of, I think, 11 yards, it looks like to me. And that's really the first time they've thrown it further down the field, JJ. And that play was really well timed up. Play action. They had Houston in as a fullback. Rolled Deke Scogan out to the right, and he put it right on the money to the guy with the surest hands in the 804. Devion Brown for the first down, down to the 38.
It's a great passing concept there. You expecting the run, and you just roll out. You have Huey Stone, the original person that's supposed to be getting the ball. If he's covered, you have a deeper out route for Devion Brown, which, in my opinion, could honestly be the safer option than the shorter throw to Huey Stone. And, yeah, he was able to catch it on the sideline, get that first down for the Titans, and keep this drive alive. So they're about back to where they started before they got the penalty.
Exactly, and credit to Flint Hill being sure in the tackle, because the amount of times in the last 4 years that we've seen Devion Brown catch what seems to be a fairly innocuous ball 10 or 12 yards downfield and then break a tackle or two and go to the house. I mean, that's why in his career he has 29 touchdowns receiving. And so a couple Flint Hill guys did a nice job of containing him and pushing him out of bounds. We did have a timeout here. That's why there's a break in the action, as the Flint Hill Huskies called the timeout there. They, I believe, have used 2 this half and have 1 to go. And I want to make sure we give a shout out to our producer today, Briggs Pinar, class of 2027. And as always, executive producer Carter Tyree, who makes all this possible. Carson Parks breaks one for a great gain, and gonna have another late flag. Carson ran for, looked like about 23 yards there, which should take him, I think, over 100 on the day. And I think it's going to be another post-play unsportsmanlike. But we'll let the officials sort it out.
After the play, personal foul on the Titans.
If you were the most pessimistic Trinity fan coming into this game at 4-0, playing an 0-4 team, and someone were to ask you, like, well, what would have to happen for you to find yourself with the chance to lose the game that, you know, on paper you're heavily favored, I would say things like fumble the opening kickoff at your own 2-yard line and have 3 or 4 15-yard penalties that kill your momentum repeatedly. And that's exactly what's happened in this first 14 minutes. Still a first down at the 31, but Trinity should have been in the red zone, or would have been in the red zone, but for that late. I mean, I think they're just continuing to block, and they say go to the echo of the whistle, but they're going beyond that. And now a rare drop by Devion Brown, who taps his chest, says, my bad, and again, I mean, Devion Brown, he just doesn't drop a football. So that one, you got to chalk up to the conditions. But the Titans just not crisp in general thus far. And also, again, for the second or third time today, I will say credit to Flint Hill. Even at 0-4, they got off the bus from Oakton ready to go, and they're really hanging in there. And credit to Carson Parks because none of this seems to be affecting him. None of the fumbling, none of the penalties. Carson just keeps grinding it out. He's run the ball now 12 to 14 times for over 100 yards, and we still have over 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, and Coach Bell is working really well here to run the clock down and also give your defense a chance to rest and regroup. They're under the TV or they're under the tents right now watching the screen, seeing what they can do better. And that's how great coaches work off each other. The offensive and defensive coordinator are coaching on the same team. They're working at the same job, but they can't work separately. They have to work together for a team to be great like Trinity is.
Yeah, I think that's what great coaches often call complementary football.
Yeah.
Where the offense and the defense are working together along with the special teams. And, interestingly, this is only the fourth possession total in this game. Flint Hill's had the ball twice and scored both times. And this is only Trinity's second offensive possession, even though we're well into the second quarter. Because when you're running that ball, the clock just keeps churning. This time Parks is met in the backfield. He falls forward for a yard. And JJ, that's something you pointed out earlier, that Carson always falls forward. And he does a good job. That could have been a loss of 2 or 3, but he's still able to get 1 yard out of it. But it will be third and about 7. Probably the longest, I think, third down that the Titans have faced thus far. Deke, play action, touchdown, Titans. Sam DeFrancesca, the senior University of Richmond commit, with another touchdown and a great pass by Deke Skogan. And maybe even more than the great pass, a great play fake that really got the linebackers and safeties to bite and open things up for the man they call DeFran.
Yeah, Coach Bell is doing a very, very, very good job play calling here. The Flint Hill have seen the run, so you fake the run. They've seen the screen pass, so there was a screen pass on the far side that the DBs were focused on. And like I said, the tight ends don't catch the ball often, but when they do catch the ball, it's usually very good.
And a bad snap there on the extra point. So Cole Dameron, the holder, knew he wasn't going to be able to get it down. He tried to roll out and throw, but snuffed out there by Flint Hill. So despite the 80-yard touchdown drive that ran several minutes off the clock, over 5 minutes off the clock, Flint Hill is going to maintain the lead at 14-13.
Yeah, defense has to come out here and start making plays now. You don't want to wait until halftime. And Flint Hill get the ball at halftime, so you don't want them to get a 2-for-1-1. And you don't want it to get to halftime where you have to get screamed at to do better and then you start doing better. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah, on the last Flint Hill touchdown, when Mahmoud did a great job handling a tough snap and they made their extra point. I remember thinking, we're going to see before this game is over, I bet we're going to see an extra point no good because of the wet conditions. And sure enough, it just happened. And so that hold by Mahmoud right now is the difference in the game, with Flint Hill holding a 1-point lead. Good kickoff by Evan Goldschmidt, sails, or bounces, I should say, through the end zone. And if there's any U of R Spiders fans watching today, y'all got to be excited because 3 of the 4 touchdowns on the day have been scored by guys who will be just a few miles from here playing football at the University of Richmond next year. With Ty Harris has 2 touchdowns for Flint Hill, and then Sam DeFrancesco with 1 for Trinity. And I don't know where Carson Parks is looking at college, but I know he's also a track star. But I think he definitely is someone that could play college football somewhere. All right. Huskies ball at their own 20. This is the worst field position they've had today. Their third drive. They look to run. Fumble. Ball came out. I think the Titans have it. Maybe not. No, Flint Hill did well to get on it. Ball was knocked out. Hard hit there. I didn't quite see who, but if I had to guess, it was probably Mason Love or maybe Trey Cherry. And I wish I could see who recovered it, because that young man deserves a lot of credit, but I couldn't quite make out who recovered it. But it will stay Flint Hill ball.
Yeah, once again, not sure who made the tackle, but that was a textbook tackle, head on the ball. Kind of like some we saw Jalen Ramsey to Garrett Wilson in that Week 1 game versus Steelers and Jets.
Another fumble and a sack. Trey Cherry gets in the backfield as Mahmoud.
Sacked by number 1, Trey Cherry.
Mahmoud had a hard time handling the snap, and Trey Cherry flew through the line. It's going to be 3rd and very long for Flint Hill. Our last home game a couple of weeks ago, Trey Cherry was our co-player of the game and joined us for a post-game interview. And he's just such a fun player to watch. He just flies to the ball, plays with so much passion. And only a junior, already has several Division I offers. All right, 3rd and 17 for the Huskies, trying to hang on to this 1-point lead. Mahmoud rolls right. His pass is dropped. It was a good play concept, and they had number 13, Patrick Willits, wide open. I don't know that he would have gotten the first down, but he at least would have given him a lot more room to be able to punt the ball. But on a drier day, I would maybe criticize Willits for the drop. But we've seen even the best receiver in the state, Devion Brown for the Titans, even has dropped a ball. So no one is immune as the rain continues to be steady. And would you call it pouring? I mean, it's...
Yeah, I would.
Good job handling the snap, but not a very good kick. This is Willits, actually the young man that just wasn't quite able to catch that last play. He's also the punter. First punt we've seen today. And Willits' punt, ultimately, it's a 21-yard punt, no return, but Titans will take over with great field position in Flint Hill territory at the 34-yard line, and a crucial 3-and-out. That's one thing you talked about, JJ, when we talked a few minutes ago about that complimentary football, is the defense got a nice rest, got to regroup after giving up 2 touchdowns. I'm sure they were hearing it a little bit from Coach Wally, the defensive coordinator, and that was a pretty much perfect defensive possession. With a 3-and-out, and now they flip the field position, and the Titans are trying to take their first lead of the day here.
Yeah, you just said exactly what I was about to say. You give this defense time to rest, they're going to be flying to the ball, forcing fumbles, getting sacks.
Carson Parks breaks through the line. He's still somehow on his feet. What a run by Carson Parks. He picked up 20 yards. Looked like he could have been brought down several different times, and that field's got to be slippery, but he somehow maintained his balance. And he is now got to be up almost to 150 yards rushing, still halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah, look at another Player of the Week nomination.
Play clock down to 3. Titans get the play off. They go to Carson Parks. He breaks another tackle. Finally brought down at the 6.
Carson Parks on the carry down to the 7-yard line.
Sevion Sarkhash hung on for dear life and brought Carson Parks down, but it'll be 2nd and 3. Parks again. He's coming close. He is in for his second touchdown of the day and his 9th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, 9th, yeah.
And a couple plays ago, JJ, you said maybe Carson Parks a nominee for the Times-Dispatch Player of the Week, and since then he's only added more stats to what was already an impressive stat line. After that missed extra point, Titans are going to go for 2 here with the 19-14 lead. Deke Scogan is under center this time. Devion Brown goes in motion. And it's going to be a false start.
False start on the Titans.
That's a crucial penalty because now instead of having it from the 3-yard line, they're going to have to go for this 2 from the 8. Of course, they could still choose to kick the extra point, but they will continue to go for 2.
Yeah, going back to that touchdown right there, it's another instance. You could probably make a 10-minute compilation of Carson Parks falling forward, which is what good running backs do. They fall forward when they get tackled. You see big guys like Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, when they get tackled, they fall forward. And like I said, that's what...
And pass was incomplete, but there is a flag, and it is going to be defensive holding. So I think that would be half the distance. So I think that means then it'll be another attempt at this point after from, I think it'll be from the 4-yard line. Yeah, it is. So they went from the 3 back to the 8, now the 8 up to the 4. And this is the 3rd try here to do this point after. Unfortunate penalty for Flint Hill because even if they let Carson Parks catch it, he was not going to get there.
Yeah.
There was really no need to hold him. The play was dead on arrival. This time Deke rolls right. He throws it up for Devion Brown. What a catch in the corner of the end zone. Incredible to get his feet down. And Deke Scogan put it where only Devion Brown could get it. Now, that's not a touchdown because it's only a 2-point conversion because we know Devion is chasing the all-time touchdown record in the Richmond area as well. But it is a catch in the end zone. It is a catch that I think only Devion Brown could have made. What a spectacular play there by him to climb up the ladder, come down with it on this wet day, and still get a foot. I think he even got 2 feet in. I think that would have been good in the National Football League, where we may see him in a few years here.
Yeah, also credit to Deacon on that throw. This, like you said, threw it only to where Devion Brown could get it, and far enough, or not far enough to where he could still get those 2 feet in bounds and convert the 2-point conversion to put them up 21-14 now.
Yeah, first lead of the day for the Titans. And you can even just see a little more life, a little more energy, a little more juice on the Titans sideline as they have taken the lead. But Flint Hill's still right in it, just down 7. And we've seen Ty Harris be explosive. And Flint Hill will get really good field position as well because Evan Goldschmidt kicked that kickoff out of bounds. And so by rule, I believe that means that Flint Hill will take over at the 35. So nice field position for the Huskies.
Yeah, very unlucky there. It was a great kick. Just took a bad bounce to the side instead of forward like you would like. You see Coach talking to Evan down there about what happened on that kick. But yeah, great field position for Flint Hill in this situation. And could go for a 2-for-1 here if they get down the field quick enough while also running a lot of time off the clock.
Yeah, and Flint Hill will get the ball to start the second half because they deferred, and even though they got the first possession of the game thanks to that fumble on the opening kickoff. So that is a good point. You're in that time range where you might hope to get a quick score and maybe even get one more possession. Flags fly for a delay of game. And those are the kind of things that drive coaches crazy, JJ. I mean, it's your first play of the possession. Like, how are you getting a delay a game? It's just not fundamental football there, unfortunately, if you're a Husky fan.
Yeah, I'm looking directly across the field. I see a bunch of coaches shaking their head, throwing their hands up.
Trey Cherry and Khalid Rayner get there on the blitz, and it's a huge loss. I think that's going to be a 11-yard loss, and combined with the 5-yard penalty on the delay of game, it's going to be 2nd and very long. I think second and about 26. And this is not where you want to be if you're Flint Hill. Second and very long with this Titan defense starting to fly around.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to pick up the first down here. Of course, they're a passing team, but with the rain, we saw a drop pass. But on that play, they get the 5 yards back, which we've seen the Titans struggle with discipline, which is pretty uncharacteristic. Coach Wally and Coach Mickens preach discipline almost every single day. Even if they make an announcement during morning meeting and talking about discipline, this team is very disciplined. But we've seen a lot of undisciplined penalties that the Titans have had, and it almost led to them being down at halftime.
Yeah, 3 or 4 guys jumped off sides when Mahmoud did a hard count there. This ball's up for grabs and incomplete. Good coverage on the play by KJ Harris.
Alexander Mahmoud, incomplete. Third down.
So it'll be 3rd and 21. Just under 4 minutes until halftime.
Looks like the Titans are setting up in a cover 3 to try and cover those outside go balls that Flint Hill has been running all game.
They do throw it up. It is incomplete, but a flag, 2 flags, in fact, come out. And the intended receiver there was Paris Borden. Borden came into this game as the leading receiver yardage-wise for Flint Hill with over 300 receiving yards on the year. And I think they're going to get Marquez Bullock there for pass interference. So on a 3rd and 21, it's a huge penalty in this game that will keep the drive alive for Flint Hill.
Yeah, it's a tough call there. I didn't think there was too much contact, but the thing that sold it for the ref was Marquez didn't get his head around to the ball, which is what you have to do if you're a DB. If you don't get your head around to the ball, it's a lot easier to call a pass interference than if you do turn around and find the ball and make a play on it.
So 3rd and 21 becomes 3rd and 6. I believe in college and NFL, the pass interference is automatic first down, but not in high school. It is 15 yards, but still 3rd down. But 3rd and much more manageable. They fake it. Pressure by Rayner. Caught. It's going to be a yard short, but a nifty catch there.
Pass complete. Number 3, Alexander Mahmoud to number 8,
Owen Hobbs made the catch.
Yard short.
4th and 1 from the 44.
Coach Wally using these DBs' speed to get to the quarterback. He's sending about 4 up the middle, which takes the double team. You have to double team Big Mike. You have to double team Sadiq. And it frees up these DBs with speed to try and get the quarterback from behind where he's not looking.
On 4th and 1, Mahmoud tried the hard count again, but this time the Titans did well not to jump. Snap is dropped by Mahmoud. He does fall on it, but it's a huge loss. And, of course, with it being 4th down, it will be Titan ball. So, really, it's the same impact, even if a Trinity player had recovered there. But they would be taken over at the same place. So, really unfortunate for Flint Hill when they had just made Owen Hobbs had just made a really tough catch to give them 4th and 1 and a chance to keep this drive alive. But Mahmoud couldn't handle the snap on this wet day. And now Titans take over at the 29 of Flint Hill. And a great chance to get more points on the board here before halftime for the Titans.
Yeah, just letting all Flint Hill fans know that was not what you want to do. Coach Bell is one of the best offensive coordinators in the 804 area, so he's going to use all this time up. If you're a Titan fan, you already knew that this time will be all used up. So Flint Hill probably will not get a chance to get that 2-for-1. And if the Titans score, it'll be a 2-possession lead.
Good call, JJ. Carson Parks ran for just about 2 yards on that one, and he got carried a little bit there. Good tackle by the Huskies. Play clock into single digits. Game clock under 2 minutes till halftime. Deke Scogan looks for Sam DiFrancesca. That pass broken up well. Great job by Daniel Shakrai. I think if Deke had maybe put a little more air under it, we might be seeing a second Sam DiFrancesca touchdown. But instead, good job by Shakrai to break it up, and it's 3rd and 8.
But yeah, it's a great play there by the defense. But yeah, Deacon either has to make a decision to loft it up and let him run under it, or throw a bullet to where he catches it in stride, and it's too quick for a defender to get a hand in there and knock it away.
I think that's only the second incompletion for Deke Scogan, and the only other one was when Devion Brown dropped a catchable ball earlier. This time Deke's going to use his legs to take off. He slides just short of the first down, and you know, it looked like he could have gotten it maybe, but he heard those footsteps and decided to go down rather than take what could have been a big shot. And it's still going to be 4th and very manageable, but it is 4th down indeed, 4th and 2.
Yeah, I know Deacon plays with a lot of heart, but in that situation, sliding is the best option. You don't want to take a big hit, potentially rule yourself out when you're in this situation where you're running back and just pick it up on this play here.
And they do have the running back try to pick it up. I don't think he got it, though. And for really the first time today, Flint Hill is able to stiffen up and get a stop. And, yeah, I guess Carson Parks actually fumbled, although either way, he wasn't going to get the first down yardage, so would have been a turnover either way. But Flint Hill will take over right at the 20. And that's a great job by the Huskies defense there. I mean, they took the field with the Titans in great field position and having all the momentum. And I think we probably both, you and I, JJ, anticipated it was likely that Trinity was going to extend this lead out before halftime. But instead, it's only a 7-point game, and Flint Hill is going to have the ball with a chance to maybe get something here before halftime. And then they're also going to get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, they're going to have to move quick.
That is a high throw and dropped. Would have been a spectacular catch, and Harris couldn't quite come up with it.
I mentioned this a lot during the Woodbury game, that the quarterback had to back up when he threw. He wasn't able to set his feet, and this is the same thing happening in this game here. Titans front 7 getting great pressure. The DBs coming off the end getting great pressure, not allowing the quarterback to set his feet and deliver an accurate pass. Every throw has been kind of like back foot throws or on the run throws that are either ending up too high or too low for the receivers to catch.
2nd and 10, we see Devion Brown come and play some defense. And we see him with a pick 6 right on cue. Fat Rat with the score.
Devion Brown taken back for a Titans touchdown.
All right, it is a touchdown. There was some confusion if there maybe had been 12 men on the field for Trinity, but it's only 11. It is a score. Devion Brown. Now I'm gonna pose a question to our executive producer Carter Tyree over here. I mean, in his quest for the touchdown record, I guess a pick 6 doesn't count, right? It's just the receiving record that he's going for. So, I mean, Devion Brown has now added a new way to score to his long list, right? He's in his career has 29 receiving touchdowns. He has 10 or 12 rushing touchdowns, kickoff return touchdowns, punt return touchdowns, and I believe that's his first pick 6 scoring from the defensive side of the ball. And just like that, the momentum right back in the Titans' favor, 28-14.
Yeah, that perfectly backs up the point that I had talked about the play before, that the quarterback was throwing off the back foot every play. On that play, once again, threw it off the back foot, and this time it was in a danger area. It wasn't to the sideline like usual. It was in a danger area, and Davion made a great play from the safety position to come down, intercept that ball, bobbled it the first time, but ultimately got a hold of it, and then only like a 20-yard trot to the end zone after the interception. a little confusion from the refs thinking that maybe Titans had 12 on the field, the fans screaming they had 11, and ultimately the touchdown stands, making it 28-14 for the Titans.
Yeah, I think the confusion maybe came because it was a late substitution where Cole Dameron needed to come off, and Devion came in late. In fact, that may have even contributed to why Flint Hill threw it out there. I bet if they knew that it was the All-American, maybe they make a different choice. But regardless, all was good, all was fair. Just 11 dudes on the field, and they waved that flag off. See if Evan can get a kick here that doesn't go out of bounds, and it is going to be returnable for Ty Harris. Harris has 2 touchdowns on the day, and he's going to have a great return here out to the 34-yard line where he's tackled by Ben Rosen and Josh Amenzia.
Yeah, it's the perfect return opportunity there. The ball's kicked directly down the middle, so you have everywhere to work. You have the right lane, you have the left lane. If something happens to open up in the middle like you just did, you have the middle lane as well. So not a great kickoff there from Evan. You want it angled towards the sideline, but Titans was able to make a tackle around the 35.
It'll be interesting here, JJ, to see, will Flint Hill push it, try and get points before halftime, or with that pick 6 that just happened plus the previous fumble, maybe they go conservative here knowing that they're going to get the ball to start the second half.
I think if you're Flint Hill, you have to go. You have to show Coach Wally that we're not scared. We can do big things in this situation, because if Coach Wally smells fear, he's going to attack it.
So they end up, with a running play to Savion Sarkosh. It went for 4 yards, but they are showing, a hurry-up, no-huddle offense. So they at least are hoping to try and maybe get something downfield. They give it to Sarkosh again. He runs for a yard. Mason Love, Kean Montgomery with the tackle. That, I think, will do it, as they're in no hurry here, and the clock is going to run out on the first half. So your halftime score, Trinity Episcopal 28, Flint Hill 14. JJ, before we take a quick break, give us your overall thoughts on half number 1.
The first quarter came out very, very, very not sharp. Lots of fumbles on the first possession. They let up 2 touchdowns, went down 14-7. But this second quarter, they started to really turn it up, force those fumbles, get an interception, and the offense has just been clicking all game. Carson Parks running very well besides the fumble he had on 4th down. It's just the Titans have picked up the intensity. I see a lot more talk out there than from the first quarter. And Coach Miggins will be happy about the second quarter, but he will have something to say about that first quarter as well.
Yeah, Trinity came out a little flat, and, of course, when you fumble the opening kickoff, that's the nightmare start. But this experienced Titan team did a good job regrouping. I think certainly the star of the first half was Carson Parks on the ground, running for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. So we will take a break here for a few minutes. The rain's starting to slow down a little. It's still coming down, but not as hard as it was before. So anybody who lives nearby, if you want to come out and check out second half action, it's not too bad out here. But if you want to stay home and stay dry, we'll have it covered for you here on TESPN. And we will be back in a few. Welcome back for the second half of this Visa Division I clash. Halftime score, Trinity Episcopal 28, Flint Hill 14. And the second half will begin with the Titans kicking off to the Huskies. The rain has pretty much stopped. It was pouring for most of the first half. Definitely affected the game with a lot of guys dropping balls, some fumbles, some missed snaps, things of that nature. But it's dried out quite a bit. It actually turned into a pretty pleasant day at this point, although producer Briggs Pinar tells me that rain looks like it could be coming back around by the fourth quarter or so. Excited for our second half coverage to be joined by the president of TESPN, class of 2026, Abby Miller.
Hi.
And also Titan football super fan. Abby has followed the team for years, home and away.
Yeah, that is true.
Big school spirit person.
Definitely hit the road a few times last year.
All right. Evan Goldschmidt's second half kickoff is a booming one. Definitely his best kick of the day. It travels in the air all the way to the end zone and through the end zone. And got to give a Titan shout out to Evan Goldschmidt because yesterday he came out on this field at lunch. And I accompanied him as supervision to train fellow juniors Sam Adelar and Marin Snyder for next week's field goal kicking contest for Spirit
That's so
Week.
Funny.
So for our viewers, next week is Spirit Week at Trinity, and there's a lot of games and contests where the classes compete for the Titan Cup. And one of them is a field goal kicking contest. But, of course, the actual football players aren't eligible to participate. So Evan gave up his lunch yesterday to give a coaching session to Marin Snyder and Sam Adelar.
I love that.
I got to say, class of 27 is the class to beat for the field goal kicking because Sam and Marin were crushing them.
I will say, the sophomores, the juniors this year did win last year, but they won with Kanan Mamunovich. Sam Adelar didn't do it last year.
All right, back to the game. First play from scrimmage is a 1-yard run for the Huskies. So it'll be 2nd and 9. And pressure put on Mahmoud, but he takes off. Ooh, that's going to be a flag. Yeah. Mahmoud slid, and once that quarterback slides, you really can't touch him. And Ben Rosen, I mean, it's hard. I don't blame Ben necessarily because you're trained to go after the quarterback.
Right.
And it's hard when you're going full speed on this wet field to slam on the brakes. But Ben did hit him. I think that is, unfortunately for Trinity, a good call. And it's a big call because it's going to give much better field position for Flint Hill out to the 39-yard line. Yeah,
and as a senior, Ben should really know that he's not supposed to hit the quarterback. He was very clearly going down. And Ben plays with a lot of intensity. He's a hard hitter, so he's very aggressive. He's going to go for that tackle, but he should have some restraint and know that this isn't a smart move for the team, and I need to lay off a little bit.
All right, so 1st and 10 Huskies. Ty Harris in motion. Ty Harris had 2 touchdowns in the first half. This is a good run by their leading rusher for Flint Hill, Sevion Sarkash. And Flint Hill has not run the ball very effectively today. In fact, I think that's the biggest run they've had. It was a 9-yard gain out to the 48.
We see the Flint Hill offensive coaching staff trying some new stuff. It was a little reverse there that threw off half the Titans defense. They were all coming to the near sideline when the play was actually to the far sideline, and a great tackle on the sideline by KJ Harris.
Second and a long one. Just a minute into the second half. Play action pass is complete out to number 8, Owen Hobbs, for another Flint Hill first down. And the Huskies off to a good start in the second half, just as they got off to a great, really dream start in the first half.
Yeah.
By recovering the fumble on the opening kickoff and returning it all the way down to the 2, and then they scored 2 plays after that.
Another great play call there by the offensive coordinator. A little play action pass and a sidearm. Great throw there by number 3. And hits his man in stride. He gets to turn upfield a little bit, gets the first down.
Big pass.
Hit by Love.
He's going to get it.
By Harris for his 3rd touchdown of the day. That is Ty Harris, number 5.
Ty Harris, Huskies touchdown.
And Mason Love got a big hit on Mahmoud, but he hung in there, put up a ball that only Harris could catch, and he made that catch over Bullock. And I mean, this is still a ball game, guys.
Yeah, you can see this Flint Hill quarterback getting a lot of confidence. He stepped into that throw where usually he'd be backing up and throwing off the back foot, but stepped into it, took the hit, delivered a good ball. And when you have a college commit receiver out there, you just got to get it up to him. The Titan DBs have to do a better job of getting their head around to the ball. We see them have a pass interference because they didn't get their head around, 2 touchdowns because they didn't get their head around to the ball. And it's affecting the scoreline when it's 28-21, when it really could be 28-7.
Yeah.
And Nathan Jacobson has now gone 3 for 3 on his extra points. And just a minute and 16 seconds into the second half, it's 28-21 as the Huskies cut this Titan lead in half.
This also isn't a good look if your coach making your team has came out slow the first or every single time you came out of the locker room. And you have big games coming up. You have a team from D.C. coming down next week, Glen Allen, St. Chris, Benedictine, all games that can go either way. So you don't want to come out the locker room coming out slow because we know Benedictine, St. Chris, and even public schools like Glen Allen are not going to come out slow.
Right.
Yeah, so mentioning Benedictine and St. Christopher's, they played each other yesterday. Both came into that game undefeated. I was able to catch some of it on the live stream after.
I was there.
Were you?
I was.
Look at a good game. I mean, ultimately 35-31 win for the Cadets, but
Yeah.
it was a back-and-forth game, and both teams look strong, and those are
Right.
a couple of future opponents for the Titans that are going to be challenging for sure. And Flint Hill has proven to be challenging today, but Deuce Mason uses his blockers. That's got to be a horse collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flag on the play.
A lot of flags.
Kick by number 1.
Also, Patrick Willits
Player down.
for Flint Hill. He's a player we've seen get a lot of action today. He's their punter. He also was a receiver. And on the block there, I think he just got, when Deuce cut against the grain, someone blocked him, and it was a hard hit that he probably didn't really see come until the last second. So it was a horse collar tackle, and it's going to give Trinity really good field position. Deuce Mason was able to get out just beyond the 30-yard line, and when they tack on these 15, it'll be Titan ball at their own 45, and hope Willits is okay.
Yeah, you basically captured it perfectly. I was able to get a better view because I was really looking for everything that wasn't where the ball was in. Patrick didn't see KJ Harris coming, and when Deuce cut the ball back, it was just a crushing block there, right to the midsection. It was clean, but not really necessary in my opinion. And now a player's hurt.
Yeah. But a little more on the Benedictine St. Chris game. The score doesn't really reflect how close of a game it was. You know, Benedictine's had pretty significant wins over Benedictine in the past few years, and that was a super close game. You know, it was drive for drive, score for score, and it wasn't until the very end of the game that the Benedictine defense was actually able to stop the Saints from scoring when they ended up taking advantage and ended up winning the game. But it was definitely a super close game. Kind of St. Chris is stepping up as a little bit more of a powerhouse this year than they have in previous years. We've had good games against them this year, but I think that's going to be a game that's going to be super close. Same with Benedictine. I mean, that's always been our toughest opponent by far. And obviously an intense rivalry there.
Yeah, I mean, when the VISA rankings come out here, I think you're going to see that those 3 Richmond schools as the top 3. Certainly provided that the Titans are able to hold on today, which is
Right.
no foregone conclusion, of course, with only a 7-point lead right now. But Trinity at 4-0, Benedictine is now 5-0,
Yeah.
and St. Christopher is 4-1. But they have some really quality wins on their resume, with wins over Episcopal, as well as Huguenot High School, as well as Bullis,
Norfolk Academy.
and a solid Norfolk Academy team as well. So
Yeah.
You're exactly right, Abby. Saints look really good this year. We know the Cadets, having won the last 2 VISA state championships, of course, are always going to be in the mix, as well as these Titans. And Flint Hill historically has been really strong as well. I know they're off to a rough start this year, but they're showing today that this team has a lot of talent, and they're still playing super hard and and have big goals ahead of them.
Right.
And Ty Harris is a problem for
100%.
opposing teams, and we've seen him with 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving, and also a lot of credit to the quarterback, Alex Mahmoud, who has put him in those positions. All right, good to see Willits is walking off.
Yeah. I mean, Flint Hill was actually one of the games that I was at last year. We definitely had a close game against them last year. We ended up losing to Flint Hill, actually. Wait.
Titans won 22-20 last year.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I
But
apologize.
yeah, no, I mean it was
It was
back and
super
forth.
close till the very end of that game. You know, it's definitely sweated a lot more in that game than we thought was going to happen. We were actually their homecoming game last year. Had a lot of fun stuff at the game. They had like face painting and stuff. But
Oh yeah, Flint Hill's a great school. I'm sure we
Yeah.
have plenty of Husky fans watching our stream today, and nothing but respect for a great school up there in Oakton, that we're playing in more and more sports these days. So
yeah, we're supposed to play them in tennis today. We got rained out though.
oh, that's right.
You
yeah.
can't play in any rain for tennis, but
All right, first offensive possession of the second half for the Titans. And they go back to the guy who was the bellwether in the first half, Carson Parks, with over 150 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in the first half. And he is able to run for 3 yards on the first play of the second half, or the first, I should say, offensive play for Trinity, as they try and respond to Flint Hill's quick strike touchdown drive.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Coach Bell will go to the passing game here. Flint Hill, obviously the rain stopped. They've been doing what they've been doing all season, which is passing the ball, and they got that 3-play drive touchdown, I think.
yeah, definitely some sort of play intended over here with Huey Stone and Fat Rat. And
Great job.
deflected by Flint Hill.
Yeah, that was a really nice job there by David Parks Johnson, number 21. He read the play well, and Deke just didn't quite get it out there. I think if that gets to Fat Rat, Hugh Stone was ready and willing to block for him.
For sure.
And I think that play could have been a touchdown, honestly, by either team, because if that gets to Devion Brown's hands, he might go. But on the flip side, if David Parks Johnson could have just gotten a second hand to it, he could add a pick 6 there. So
Right.
ultimately, it falls harmlessly to the ground, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
Yeah.
But the last thing the Titans want after giving up that early touchdown here would be to go 3 and out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that play was a good idea, but I think it was highly predictable. You know, obviously teams know
Yeah, you
Fat Rat's our best
predicted it.
player. I
And
did predict it.
once again, the secondary steps up for Flint Hill. Deke Scogan looks to go deep to Devion Brown, but this time it was Paris Borden who got a hand to it, and also good coverage by Ty Harris, who's really been the star for Flint Hill today. And it is a 3 and out, and for the
Titans are
first
gonna
time,
punt.
for the first time today, Trinity's going to punt. So Hugh Stone, the tight end / fullback / punter, the Carnegie Mellon commit, is coming on for his first punt of the day.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for Deacon there. He hasn't thrown the ball really far all game, and the defense didn't really give him time to warm up on the sideline. The Flint Hill had a quick drive there, so didn't get much time to warm up.
It's a great punt by Huey, but it's almost a little too great, and it's going to travel all the way into the end zone for a touchback. So the punt is a 53-yard punt with no return, but it will be a touchback. And Coach Mickens did not look too happy, actually. I think he would have preferred Huey get a little more air under it and try and get it downed. So, of course, when a punt, if it goes into the end zone, it comes out to the 20-yard line.
Okay. Instead of like the 10 or like the. Okay, I got you.
So Flint Hill here with a chance to tie this ball game up if they can get a touchdown and an extra point. And you'd have to say in this early part of the third quarter, momentum is very much with the Huskies as they've come out and had a great start.
For sure.
Whistles blow and
No flag though.
yeah, I believe it's a timeout Flint Hill, and I'm sure that they're not too happy to have to burn a timeout on the first play of the drive, but I think it is a situation where they want to get their main man, Ty Harris, into the game, but I think he's cramping up. So I really think they just called that timeout so that Harris could get some attention from the training staff. And yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's cramping up. They're putting some sort of
Get that man some mustard.
yeah, icy hot on his leg. Yeah, I didn't know about the mustard trick till a few years ago.
You know, I was talking to somebody about that yesterday. Someone was cramping at the Benedictine game. I said, get him some mustard, and they were like, what would you do mustard for? It's like, it's the sodium in it. It's the same thing with the pickle juice. You know?
I didn't know that. Like when I was, obviously you're a senior in high school, and I did not know about that. But
yeah,
that's one of the things I learned coaching is if a guy's cramping up, get him some mustard or pickle juice. It can work wonders, the home remedies. All right, so still 1st and 10. They do run for a short gain. And Ben Rosen with the tackle after just a 1-yard gain by Savion Sarkouche.
We're starting to see the Titans have an extra safety out there, so 2 high safeties. And I think that's an adjustment Coach Timone made because his DBs have been getting burnt all day in man coverage. So
they're going to get pressure this time, and I think Cole Dameron was the first one to get there. And then Kean Montgomery got in there, and great job. Cole Dameron is just a sophomore that I think is really one of the rising stars on this team. And he plays safety, but, you know, that time they let him get up in the box, and he was able to get to the quarterback to make it 3rd and 18.
Yeah, just because the Titans are going to start sitting in zone more doesn't mean that Coach Walee's going to stop bringing the pressure. He's still going to be blitzing linebackers and just having the DBs have to cover a little bit more area.
Mahmoud had a little time. He does complete the short pass, but a great tackle there by Josiah Walker. The pass was caught by Paris Borden, but it's only a 7-yard gain, and it's going to make it 4th and 11.
Yeah, and something we talked about last week when we did the podcast is that, like, you know, we had Miles, Mason, Farrett, and Kean Montgomery on the podcast. You know, like, when you think of the, like, superstars in the Titan football team, you know, you think of Miles and Mason and Fat, but kind of just, like, how Kean plays, like, a silent role in a way. Like, I mean, maybe that's not the right word, but he's such a big part of the team, but he doesn't necessarily get the recognition, the stars behind his name that maybe the other players do, but doesn't make him any less valuable of a player, any less valuable part of the offense or defense. Excuse me.
It's going to be a delay of game there, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think Kean Montgomery is an incredible player, and a little bit of a late bloomer who he's had a solid career, but he's really stepped up into a starring role as a senior.
Yeah.
But on that play, I want to point out because Patrick Willits is the punter, or the first-string punter for Flint Hill, and we saw him go off on that kick return.
Yeah.
And so they're now having to go to a backup punter who actually did a really good job.
I thought it's actually not bad at all.
But Devion Brown fields it, and
be down.
He returns it inside the 40, brought down by Paris Borden at the 38. But I think that reason they got the delay of game is with Willits out.
They were trying to figure out who's going to punt.
Who's going to punt. And it ended up, I want to give credit to Rudy Ernst. Ernst made a big play on the very first play from scrimmage in this game when they had a bad snap, and he recovered it, and then the next play, Flint Hill scored a touchdown.
Right.
So that's twice that Rudy Ernst has really stepped up. In not necessarily ways that show up in a stat sheet,
right?
But he's made 2 plays that help contribute to Flint Hill very much being alive to try and pull the upset in this game.
I mean, I think even if you don't look at it from a skill level, if you just look at it from a numbers, like a size level, like Flint Hill's team is very clearly smaller than our Trinity team. But, I mean, when you have a smaller team, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a worse team. It just means that different people have to fill different roles, have to fit in different shoes.
Yeah, that's something that JJ and I talked about in the first half was just you look over that Flint Hill sideline, there's not a lot of guys in uniform, but the guys that are playing their tails off. And they held Carson Parks to just 1 yard there. And the run game that was so incredibly effective for the Titans in the first half hasn't really gotten going here in the second half, JJ.
Yeah. They don't necessarily have the depth in the roster that you can see with the Titan team, you know, like having a solid second line, most positions.
This is going to be incomplete. to Josiah
deflected.
Walker. Yeah, that hung up in there for a long time.
Yeah,
And
definitely the potential to be an interception.
yeah, I think the Titans caught a break.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this Titans offense needs to start, or the Titans passing game really needs to start finding its rhythm. We haven't seen the passing game find its rhythm since the North Cross game, where Deacon threw for about 3 touchdowns and Deuce Mason caught 2 of them for about 200 yards. Ever since then, the passing game has just been either short passes or dangerous passes that resulted in interceptions.
Right.
Well, this is an obvious passing down on 3rd and 9, and the Titans went 3 and out on their first possession of the second half. They do not want to do that again. Deke has some time, and he hits his receiver, Sam DiFrancesca.
Yeah, Sam.
Really nice route concept there that got Sam wide open at the sticks, and he took it another 15 yards or so after the catch.
Yeah.
So on 3rd and 9, the Titans get a 24-yard gain to Sam DiFrancesca, who had a first-half touchdown, and the two U of R, future U of R Spiders, Ty Harris for the Huskies and Sam DiFrancesca for the Titans are going back and forth.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, Sam's definitely a huge threat on offense. He's a very good tight end, and I think that utilizing both the tight ends has been a big change for the Titans this year, and I think it's something that's paid off, you know.
Great blocking there to spring Carson Parks for, I think, his best run of the second half, a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, Coach Bell's always going to draw up the plays, and they're going to be there. The players just have to execute. Deacon has to give good throws. The receivers have to catch the ball.
Right.
So 2nd and 4 from the 8.
Yeah.
We see Josiah Walker out as a receiver. I don't believe we saw that in the first half, along with Deuce Mason and Devion Brown.
Right. I feel like this game we've seen a little bit of hesitation in Deacon. Oh,
that's a good throw by Deke, right on the money to Deuce Mason, and Deuce quickly hopped up after taking a big hit. So it was a 3-yard gain. I think it's going to make it 3rd and 1. And I believe it was Ty Harris with the tackle. He's done it on offense, defense, and special teams today for the Huskies.
Yeah, this is how you get the passing game to find its rhythm. You get a couple short throws going, and your athletes break them off for even longer throws. But just the the feeling of getting 2 throws back-to-back completed gives you confidence to throw it again or run it, open up holes.
Carson Parks! Touchdown Titans! Carson's 3rd touchdown of the day.
Yeah, like I was saying, the passing game opens up the holes in the run game. You have all athletes out there, and the defense has to space out, which gives you a lane up the middle, and Carson Parks falling forward from that distance untouched. He's going to go in and score every single time for his 10th touchdown of the season and around 500 yards on the season as well.
Yeah, Carson Parks has definitely been a huge threat this year as a running back. You know, between him and C.J. Gray, we have 2 great running backs here on our Titan offense. I believe C.J. Gray is out for injury during this game, but you know, one thing I admire about Carson is he might not be the biggest on the field, he might not be the strongest on the field, but he does not care. He will run right into that pile, and he will run till you take him down, which I really respect because, you know, like you have 200, 300-pound guy standing right in front of you trying to get you down, but that doesn't deter Carson at all. He's going to go until he can't go anymore, and, you know, I think that's really admirable of him, and I think that'll play off for him a lot if he ends up wanting to play at the collegiate level of college or football. Yeah,
exactly. JJ and I were actually talking about that very thing in the first half, Abby, that Carson definitely is a strong college prospect, and, I mean, if you want a guy who can fight through contact, has good ball security, and also has wheels. He really is, and he just keeps getting better. You know, I mean, he's only been here a couple of years, moved to the Richmond area from Colorado, and he's had a huge impact, and this year especially. Like you said, JJ, I mean, that's his 10th touchdown of the season.
They were trying to get his pads off.
And Evan Goldschmidt did hit on that extra point to make it 35-21, and another
great kick from Evan Goldschmidt.
Great kick from Evan Goldschmidt.
I will say, Evan Goldschmidt is definitely one of the players that I've noticed such significant improvement in from this season to last season. You know, Evan Goldschmidt, he's kind of like an under-the-radar person at school. Like, he's not necessarily the most outgoing person. He's not the person who's like, oh, look at me, I'm on the football team. But he's great at what he does, you know. He's very focused on his craft, and he's very focused on his job and his role on the field. And he's great at what he does.
I don't think anybody on the team's really like that, Abby.
I can tell you firsthand that that's absolutely not true.
Okay. Well, that's one of the good things about having student broadcasters is that they have the pulse of the what's going on campus.
Oh, I got you.
All right, so Huskies ball from their own 20, down 14 again. Mahmoud is pressured again, and he's brought down by Big Mike.
But there is going to be a flag on the play.
Michael Gibbs, flags on the play.
Michael Gibbs, and I think the flag's just going to be for holding on the offense. So it'll give Coach Mickens a choice here. Do you take the penalty and make it 1st and 20, or decline it and make it 2nd and 11? I think they're going to take it.
Yeah, I would.
It was a great team effort by the front seven. They're the linebackers taking away any ability the quarterback has to roll to the outside, and then Big Mike taking up a bunch of space in the middle, just reaches the arm out there. Like I said earlier, the defensive line has to start doing, and gets the sack. And I think it's like his 4th or 5th of the year.
Yeah, Abby mentioned a minute ago the improvement of Evan Goldschmidt this year from last as a junior now, and another junior who was a role player last year but is becoming one of the real stars on this team is Mike Gibbs.
100%, yeah.
He's just gotten stronger.
Does he play both sides of the ball? No? Okay.
I think he can, but I think he primarily is on that D-line.
The D-line? Yeah.
All right, so 1st and 20. Huskies in the shadow of their own goal line. And that is a great job to sniff that play out by number 18. That's Marquez Bullock. Bullock read the play perfectly, and it was a completed pass, but it went for no yards at all.
Yeah, it's great football discipline there, football IQ. Reading that there was a fake up the middle and the quarterback's going to try and roll out, has a chance to pass it, but at that point you just have to commit and hope that your DBs are doing their assignment as well. And that's just teammate trust that this Trinity defense plays with.
2nd and 20. They look to throw again.
More
Miles
pressure.
Love with the pressure. It's thrown away.
Oh, Coach Mickens almost had it.
And I don't see a flag, but they're blowing a lot of whistles.
I don't think you can call any flag on that play. Maybe if there's something on the front seven, but on that pass, that's not a catchable ball for the defender or the receiver.
Okay,
there
well,
should be no pass interference.
I don't think it's pass interference, but it's
They're talking about something.
defensive holding.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could have been a part of the field
What
that
did they call it on?
I didn't hear
Okay.
the number. But typically a defensive holding is going to be somebody in the secondary, but before the, before the ball was in the air.
Right.
So it'll be a nice reprieve for Flint Hill. They'll get 10 yards and get to repeat the down. This ball's
and
dropped
he's
by
gonna drop
Mahmoud.
it.
He is in big trouble, and he is sacked.
By
This time it's Miles Love. And Miles is a guy that has primarily played on the offensive line, but the coaches were telling me this week that they were going to start letting Miles get some defensive reps as well, and it pays off with a big sack by the senior Howard commit.
With his brother. They're both going.
Yeah, exactly.
How fun is that?
That is really cool.
I love that for them.
Of course, Howard University not far from Flint Hill, so they're making the trip up 95. The Love brothers, while
Where is
Ty
Howard
Harris,
Where is it?
Howard's in D.C.
Oh, okay.
And then Ty Harris from Flint Hill coming back the other way to University of Richmond. All right, 3rd and very long. Mahmoud is stepping out of his own end zone. It's going to, I'm almost
on the
positive,
play.
yeah, it's going to be a hold on Flint Hill, and it was
Yeah.
Miles Love who was being held there. Now, Mahmoud ran for a few yards, so it could either be 4th and about 16 where they could take the holding. I would think he would decline this and just take the 4th down.
Yeah. It's so
And
interesting
they do decline it.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me, like, how many, like, the occurrences of when people are playing against people they're going to go play at the college level against next year.
Yeah, or with,
Yeah,
and,
that happened at the Woodbury game, too. I just think it's super fun.
Well,
I think it's funny.
Yeah, I think one of the really fun things for these guys, like in the Virginia Independent School Association, in many different sports, is guys who are rivals at the high school level becoming teammates and friends
Yeah.
at the college level. And those bragging rights last forever, right? Ernst with another punt and another pretty good punt, but a returnable one for Devion Brown.
He's going to look for a gap.
He's got some room. He slows down, then speeds back up, gets around one tackle, and he finally stepped out of bounds.
Right around the 10.
I think they're going to mark him out. I think they're going to mark him out at about the 14-yard line. But a great return, and that's where, it was 4th down from the 14. So with Devion Brown's return ability, Flint Hill, if they had just gone for it and failed to get it, it still would have been at the 14. So it's going to be amazing field position. There is a Flint Hill Husky down, and we're going to hope it's just cramping. It is that kind of day.
Yeah.
Very humid. And in
long car ride, I was talking to one of the managers during halftime, and she said that the whole team had to be there at 7 a.m.
Really, this morning at Flint Hill to catch the bus. Yeah.
I know. I can name a few people on our roster who would struggle at that time to have to be at school.
I think if they knew they got to play a football game, they would be sure to be on time.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right, so
long car ride.
While we have a little break in the action as they attend to the Flint Hill young man who's down, next week, right at this very time, next Saturday, Trinity will be back at home for the homecoming game and hosting Anacostia High School from Washington, D.C. That is not a school that Trinity typically plays in many sports.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what to expect from that one, but definitely expect a big crowd for homecoming. And for you two, JJ, I'll ask you first, and then Abby, just Spirit Week and all the events leading up to homecoming. How fun is that, as part of just your high school experience?
It's usually pretty fun. I usually don't participate in the spirit stuff, but I see a bunch of people participating in it, and they're very joyful. It's a joyful time. You just get to reflect on, for the seniors, you get to reflect on your time at Trinity during Spirit Week, and for the freshmen, it's your first time really doing that. They don't do that in middle school, at least where I went. So it's your first time getting to be a part of this. You get to see older people, how they do it, and just have a good time the entire week. There's not much really worry about school because the teachers usually let off a little bit. So, you can just focus on having fun the entire week and then coming to the football game on Saturday to watch a good football game.
And then I guess the dance Saturday night if you're into that sort of thing.
Yes.
Abby, you strike me as someone who probably does participate a little more in the...
Oh, I do. I have a lot of fun with it, Well, we have Matching Monday on Monday. I haven't found my partner for Matching Monday yet, but then we have Adam Sandler Day. My dad dresses up as Adam Sandler even when it's not Adam Sandler Day. So
I'll tell you what. Here's what you should do for Matching Monday, because I'm sure you can find somebody to wear some UVA gear on Monday to help celebrate the Who's big double overtime victory over Florida State last night.
I will say before we get back to the game that the seniors now, the juniors last year, we are reigning Titan Cup champions. We won last year. We're going to win again.
Yeah, but you ain't winning the field goal kicking. All right, hold on. Let's get back to action here. Play action, and they find Devion Brown, and he's going to hit that hole.
Found a gap.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Devion Brown. That is his 30th career receiving touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
And now brings him within 7 of the all-time record for Central Virginia. That's for all schools, public schools, private schools. That's a record that he's gunning for, and that doesn't even count all the touchdowns he scored besides receiving, including one today that was a pick 6.
Yeah, it was a great play by Deacon there to pump the first throw when he saw the defense converge again, letting the blocking set up and throw it the second time to where there was more of a gap for Davion to run through and gave him an easy touchdown.
Still good.
Yeah, the extra point was partially blocked, but it still was able to just make it over the upright. Sorry to Flint Hill fans, but it landed almost the exact spot that Evan Goldschmidt's game winner did 2 years ago in the state playoff game. But
that game was so fun.
It was definitely fun if you're a Trinity fan. And back to the play, JJ, that you were talking about. It just looked like such a well-conceived play. It's pretty rare to find Devion Brown get the ball in that much space, but the timing of the play with the first the play action fake to Parks, then a little bit of a pump fake by Deacon, and then the blocking was perfect. If anything, the only thing that was going to keep Devion out of the end zone was Miles Love, who almost blocked his pass.
He would be so pissed at Miles because they're super duper good friends.
Fortunately, he was able to shake that off. But anyway, great job by Devion to get in. And really, for the first time today, the Titans do have a little bit of breathing room with a 42-21 lead.
Yeah, now I predict we'll start to see the defensive line getting a bunch of just plays out there. We see Trey Cherry taking his pads off, so a bunch of people are starting to be done for the day. But, yeah, we saw last drive on the defense that a holding call on Miles Love. But you just have to put yourself in the offensive lineman's shoes on that point. You have to go from blocking Big Mike, who's about 300 pounds, to blocking Sadiq, who's about 300 pounds, to blocking Miles Love, who's about 300 pounds. So it's just not an easy thing to do, and eventually the holdings will start coming and gaps will start coming in the defensive line that allow this quarterback to be under a lot of pressure.
All right, so another great kickoff, and we still see pretty much all the first-string defense out. I was curious if maybe with a 21-point lead, if Coach Mickens would go a little bit deeper, but I'm
kind of not surprised that he didn't, just because this has been a game that's kind of gone in a different way that, maybe some of us, or maybe some of the players, some of the coaches thought it would. So just
sacked by Sadiq Pone, but some flags flew there.
One of the Flint Hills players' helmet came off.
Yeah, it's pretty tough in this situation. Bigger players like D linemen, like DBs are taught to hit low, but bigger D linemen can't get that low, so they usually hit high. And if the quarterback is short, it's really not too uncommon for a face mask or a helmet to come off in that situation. Just unfortunate there.
Yeah, and it is indeed a face mask is the call. So instead of a sack that would have put Flint Hill behind the chains, instead they get a first down and get the ball out to the 30-yard line. Just an unfortunate play because Sadiq did a great job to get to the quarterback, but his hand got caught up in the face mask. So first down and 10, Huskies. Ben Rosen with the pressure and the sack by Ben Rosen and Maddox Patrick. Great job by the Titan defense rallying to the ball on that one.
Yeah, like I said, this Titan defense starting to sit in this zone that basically covers every part of the area of the field and sending the blitzes that get to the quarterback, and the offensive line getting tired of blocking these humongous guys on the Titans D-line, and it's just leading to 2 consecutive sacks, but one unfortunately ending up in a face mask call.
Yeah, this is Maddox Patrick's first year on varsity, primarily a basketball player. I believe he's played for the JV team for the past 2 years, but definitely not only making the varsity roster, but actually getting some minutes on varsity this year, being a pretty big part of the defense.
At that time, it was a running play. They go back to the ground, and Savion Sarkouche, and that tackle was made by actually, I didn't quite see who made that tackle for the Titans, unfortunately, but Miles Love, JJ tells me. So 3rd and 15 from the 25.
Pressure.
Quarterback rolling to his left. There's Maddox Patrick, but he eludes him. But Kean Montgomery comes in and cleans up, and he lost a yard on the play. It'll be 4th and 16.
Once again, the Titans DB settling into the zone coverage that's covering up everything. We saw a corner route out here that was covered by the safety. We saw a short flat route that was covered by the linebacker, and we saw a little distraction bubble screen type of play that was covered by the corner. So the quarterback rolling out had nowhere to go, and you hold the ball for that long, eventually this Titans D-line is going to get you, and it resulted in a sack.
All right, so that's the end of the 3rd quarter. The 4th quarter is going to start with a 4th and long for Flint Hill. You would think a punting situation. Of course, their punter is injured, so
we'll see, I guess.
The second string Ernst has done a pretty good job filling in there. And see the Titans defense and special teams both kind of getting prepared just in case they go for it. But I would think it's going to be a punt.
Yeah, definitely a punt. I just want to look at the scores that Titans have had so far. So they put up 36, 48, 40, 42, and another 42 today. They're averaging around 43 points a game, and that's just not really heard of in the in high school football. You don't see many teams putting up over 40 points a game on opponents. But this Titans offense has been rolling. The defense got a score as well. But like I said, the Titans offense has just been rolling, and they're about to get the ball back here to hopefully make it 49 to 21.
All right, so they do line up in punt formation with Rudy Ernst back to kick. Devion Brown is waiting at his own 43-yard line. It's another good kick by Ernst, and this one is going to not be returnable as it goes out of bounds at the 45 of Flint Hill. So not a great kick, but still they avoided any return, and Titans will take over just on their offensive side of midfield. All right, so Deke Scogan comes onto the field for the first offensive play of the fourth quarter for Trinity. And they're going to run a reverse here to Deuce Mason. Deuce eludes a couple tackles, and I tell you what, Deuce Mason ran a long way to ultimately end up right back where the play began, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Creative little play call, but Flint Hill did a good job maintaining their discipline and not letting them get around the edge there,
Yeah,
JJ.
that's exactly what I was about to say. They did a great job maintaining their discipline. The outsides held their contain well and forced Deuce Mason to do a jump cut back inside, which isn't the quickest move. You would like to just do one cut and go. And the middle linebackers did a great job rallying to the ball and getting him down for no gain, and maybe even a loss a little bit. Looks like a loss.
Play clock down under 5. Titans get it off just in time. Back to the ground with Carson Parks. Carson follows his blockers and picks up 4 yards on the play. The tight end, Sam DiFrancesca, who's had a great game receiving the ball, but we saw him there with blocking duties, and he opened up that hole that Carson just fell in right behind him, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, these tight ends have a role that not many high schoolers do. You're expected to catch the ball and block. But many high schools, either the tight end is just used for catching or just used strictly for blocking if you run more of like a wing T formation. But yeah, these tight ends like Sam and Huey Stone have a big responsibility. They do it very well because, like I said earlier in the game, every time they have gotten the ball, it's something big. Huey picked up a big first down for the Titans when they were down, and Sam has scored 2 touchdowns.
Pass was intended for Josiah Walker, and they're going to get a flag on the play. Paris Borden broke it up, but I think they're going to say that his left hand was holding on to the jersey of Josiah Walker. So that's going to make it a first down for Trinity. And I think Paris Borden felt like he did not interfere, which, of course, DBs usually, when they do get flagged, don't think they did. But you see him talking to the official now. And actually, he shook his hand. The guy that threw the flag, Paris, just shook his hand. So I guess he was satisfied with the explanation.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a tough route to guard there. Josiah ran a post route from the outside position, and the DB gave him space to run it, so it's pretty hard. You have to guess which way they're going to break and react quickly when they do. You do usually want to get a hand on the receiver when they make their break. Just had a little bit too much hands on the pass and was called for pass interference.
Yeah.
All right, so that penalty takes it down to the 25 of Flint Hill. 1st and 10 there. We still see Carson Parks, who's gotten the lion's share of the carries today.
Parks going to go down the middle.
Yeah, he picked a good hole there.
About a few yards.
Didn't look like he had much room from up here, but he still was able to pick up 6 or 7 yards on the play.
That's not funny.
Yeah, Carson Parks being smaller in size allows him to get through those holes in the middle, and he's basically just like fast enough to outrun the defensive line and still strong enough to power through the DBs and the linebackers. So he's kind of like the perfect back, really. And like I said, he gets through those holes and picks up a gain of about 8, which not many running backs would be able to in that situation, be around a gain of 3 or 2.
Second down.
Yeah, so 2nd and 3.
Yeah.
Play clock run down to 2, and they hand to Parks again. He's going to
Ooh.
be met with a hard hit. That's Ty Harris again.
Carson Parks and carry down to the 12-yard line.
We're gonna have a Flint Hill player down.
Yeah, and it was he kind of lowered his head there,
Yeah.
and you hate to see that. That's Ty Harris,
Oh my
who's had
goodness,
an
Miss
incredible
Breeze.
game.
This is unrelated, but Miss Bree's son, Sterling, keeps running on the field.
Well, hopefully he's just cramping. I do see them working on that calf area, so hopefully
Yeah.
that's all it is. But
I did notice him and Carson Parks both did lower their heads a little bit before the tackle.
the play did result in a first down, so it was 2nd and 3, and Carson Parks picked up 4 yards. And just hope Ty Harris, he's been so fun to watch today. 3 touchdowns for Flint Hill. He's also made several key contributions defensively and in special teams. And he is up. I think he was just cramping. And he's actually, I believe, one of the players earlier that we talked about. Flint Hill actually used a timeout, if you remember, early in the 3rd quarter when he was cramping up just to get him on the field. So I think that's all it is. Obviously, when you're going through those leg cramps, it's very unpleasant.
Right.
But it's not, something that's going to be keeping him off the field for too long. So it'll be first down, Titans at the 14. And that was just an official timeout. So Flint Hill still has 2 timeouts remaining, and the Titans with their full complement of all 3 as we wind down to just over 9 minutes to go in the ball game.
Yep.
Play action pass.
What a
Oh, it was a good pass, but Devion Brown couldn't quite hang on. Maybe just a half step behind him, but I think that's still one that you would expect Brown typically to catch.
Yeah, it's definitely a catchable pass. He tried to run before he caught the ball, really, because he still wasn't in the end zone, about a yard away, but that is a pass we expect him to catch in that situation. It was a great route. He set up his man, gave him a move to the outside, and got back inside to get the inside leverage. And just unfortunately we dropped the ball.
So 2nd and 10. That incompletion, of course, stops the clock at a time when I'm sure Trinity would prefer that clock keep rolling.
Yeah.
And it's another pass to
He is
Devion
able
Brown.
to hold on to it.
Yeah, he caught this one, but not for much of a gain. Really, probably just about a yard or 2. As Flint Hill did a good job. Did a good job rallying to the ball, and it's another Husky slow to get up, and I think it's cramping again. I really do. That one's number 21, David Parks Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel awful,
Yeah, I mean, the way he's reacting, I think it's just cramps. And again, not to minimize that, because having gone through it many times, it's definitely really painful. But it's not injury. And once it starts, I mean, it's pretty much nothing you can do. I know we talked about the mustard trick or the pickle juice, but like that can help. But it's not like
it's not going to fix it until you stop. I mean, that's kind of what I've been thinking. Like they're sitting out while they're on defense or they're on offense, and they come back and it just starts up again, and no good at all.
Now we got a timeout call by Flint Hill.
Huskies timeout.
And I don't know if that's because they weren't happy with the personnel they had on the field, or really just to give their guys a break to get some water and regroup.
Yeah. Wonder if Miss Bree has any mustard in her little pack.
Don't know, but she's definitely always ready to treat our athletes. Does a great job with the athletic training side of things. And
100%.
when we do come out of this timeout, I mean, it's going to be a 3rd and about 9.
Yeah.
It is field goal range if they didn't get it,
Yeah.
or potentially go for it. And, of course, if you're the Titans, you hope it doesn't come to 4th down and they either get a first or even a touchdown here on this play. All right, so that timeout by Flint Hill leaves them with just 1 remaining. With 8:26 to go in the ball game, 3rd and 9.
Big pass to Sam DeFrancesca. It's good.
And it is incomplete.
Oh.
I think Sam came up with the catch, but he landed out of bounds. That's that.
Unfortunate for the Titans.
Yeah, that far side of the field is hard for us to see from up here. So the officials were right on it, and both of the 2 referees who were close both signaled that he was out of bounds. So the Titans will attempt a field goal. You don't see a ton of field goals taken typically by Coach Mickens, but we know Evan Goldschmidt has the leg. So he's lining up for what's going to be about a 29-yarder. Cole Dammer in the holder. I think if it was the first half when it was raining harder, maybe you don't do this, but drier conditions now. The hold is down, and the kick is good, and it had plenty of leg, JJ.
Yeah, it was a great kick, but I want to go back to the route concept that Coach Bell drew up on that play in the red zone. He had Sam act like he was blocking, then leak out for a fade route. Davion Brown on the outside ran a little slant route that took the corner on that side into the middle of the field. Josiah over here ran another slant route that didn't really affect the play, but he was open on that side, and it was a great throw by Deacon, just a little bit too far out there to where Sam couldn't get his feet in bounds.
Yeah, exactly, JJ. And I mean, you do such a great job of breaking down these plays. I'm still asking, if anybody wants to buy us a telestrator, JJ would be the czar of the telestrator, but we don't have that yet. But yeah, the way you explain that makes a lot of sense. And Sam did break open, and it was a really good throw. I mean, it was in that place where only Sam could catch it, and he just couldn't quite get a foot in. But the drive still results in points with Evan Goldschmidt knocking that field goal through, and it was only a 29-yarder, but that would have been good from 40-plus as it cleared it. And we see Evan's leg again here, and Ty Harris is able to return the kick. He's brought down at the 25-yard line.
Evan Goldschmidt returned by Ty Harris to the 24-yard line. First down, Huskies.
And I think Josh Amensia and Marquez Bullock made the tackle there. But good to see Ty Harris back in the game. He had to be helped off a couple minutes back with what we were guessing was cramps. And the fact that he's back in just a few plays later leads me to believe we were right about that. And he's been super fun to watch, JJ.
Yeah, had 3 touchdowns and had 4 before coming into this game. So he's well over 300 yards on the season and 7 touchdowns. It was a great season for a receiver, even throughout the entire year. But it's only been 5 games in, he's putting up stats like that. So obviously a great player, like you said, going to Richmond as well.
All right, so Huskies start off with a running play here on first down, and it's a gain of 3 yards by Sevion Sarkosh, the leading rusher for the Huskies. Crowd getting loud. Not a very big crowd today with the elements and the pouring rain in the first half, but the folks that are here are making some noise on second down.
Yeah, I think the rain deterred a lot of the student body from coming today.
Run by number 3, Alexander Mahmoud.
All right, so Mahmoud, the quarterback, kept it there and was able to run for about 3 yards. He was under duress, and a great job by the secondary of the Titans. There was really no options for him to pass, and it'll be 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, the entire Flint Hill wide receiver core on this right side, which was the wide side of the field, ran in breaking routes, and they had one crossing route coming from the far side of the field, which was really his only option to throw to when he was rolling out. Had no option, so decided to just take off and got a decent gain, which is more than we think they should have got on that play.
On 3rd and 4, Cole Dameron
Dameron.
comes flying through as well as Khalid Rayner. Safety blitz dialed up by Coach Wally, and that's going to make it 4th and long, and a great job by the Titans on what was a key play there on 3rd and 4 to get the stop. And we had a great angle of Cole Dameron just sprinting through that line untouched.
Yeah, it happened exactly how Coach Wally drew it up. Kean got to the outside, dragged the tackle that way. Big Mike made it in route, and you have to double team him. He's too big not to, so the guard and the center are pulling that way. And Cole, coming from that safety / linebacker position, more like a Sam, had a clear pathway to the quarterback and got through and to get the sack. And it was great timing. The quarterback usually has about 2 to 3 seconds to throw the ball. That time he had maybe 1.5 seconds to throw the ball.
Yeah, I don't even think the receivers have come out of their breaks yet, and Cole was right in his face. And I think that's the second sack of the day, I believe, by Cole Dameron, who's really been flying around. He's doing his best Trey Cherry impersonation today, playing like one of his older classmates. So on 4th and long, Flint Hill just used their final timeout. I think the play clock was coming close to expiring, and again, with the punter out, there's maybe just a little bit of operational issues with these 4th down situations when normally the punter would probably be ready to go. So Flint Hill out of timeouts in a game that they're trailing by 24 points, and a game that the Huskies were really super competitive for 2.5 quarters. But as time has progressed, Titans have been able to seize control. And in a way, it's a perfect game for Trinity from a couple standpoints. One, it's the first time they've had to play from behind all season, and you're going to need to go through that adversity because realistically, they're going to face games where they might be behind. And secondly, Coach Wally wants a shutout every week, so this is going to give him some fuel, some ammunition, some film to get on these guys in practice this week.
Right.
And they do punt it. It goes over the head of Devion Brown. He is going to scoop it up, and he makes a couple guys miss, cuts back at midfield, and he's going to be tackled right at midfield.
Putting the
Yeah,
Titans in good field position there.
Yeah, there's also a late flag. Tackle there, I want to give credit to the tackler, Cooper Gooch, who brought down Devion Brown, which is never an easy thing to do.
No.
So the ball was right at midfield, and we'll get this flag sorted out.
What is it a personal foul?
Yeah, personal foul against Trinity. I didn't see it, but it looked like it happened well up the field.
Who was it on? Number 1, I thought?
No, number 0.
Oh, sorry.
So Kean, he was right there behind the play. He just kind of slung the dude after the whistle was blown.
Oh, late hit.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and Kean is, his blocking on special teams has been incredible. He sprung Fat Rat with a big kickoff return against Woodbury.
Yeah.
And he's going to hold that block until the very last second, and it seems like that time maybe he held onto that block just beyond the last second.
Right.
So Titans will take over at their own 35. Just over 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Carson Parks is going to run the ball.
Yeah, he just kept his legs moving there, and
Just
JJ.
about a 5-yard gain on that play.
Yeah, JJ, you've been talking about it all day, but he just always falls forward.
Yeah, he got hit around the line of scrimmage, but kind of didn't really bounce off the tackle and go backwards, but really ran through the tackle and went forward and picked up a gain of 3 that really should have been a gain of nothing.
Yeah.
I think one of the stats in terms of running back stats that I pay the most attention to is yards after contact, because it's really that's what separates the good from the great ones. If you have a hole, anybody can run through a hole, but it's can you take that hit and keep going? And even again there, Carson got met in the backfield, and yes, he only gained 1 yard, but that was a hard-fought yard for sure. Tackle was made there by Tristan Daly.
Yeah, he still was able to fall forward even while being hit behind the line of scrimmage that time. Fell forward and gained a yard. And this is a obvious passing down here, I think. We're going to try and see what Coach Bell is going to draw up on this play.
Yeah.
We roll under 5 minutes. All right, it is play action. It is interception. And it is Ty Harris again. Carson Parks is going to try and keep him out of the end zone, but Harris cuts it back, and touchdown Huskies, the 4th touchdown of the day by Ty Harris, and what a game he's had.
Yeah, he's had a great game, but that just wasn't really the smart throw in that situation. He had Deuce Mason, which is what he was trying to hit on an out route about 15 yards down the field, and then he had Davion on a post route further down the field, about 20 to 25 yards, but it was the right throw, in my opinion. He was open. Deuce was open, just didn't have enough muscle on it, and it kind of just floated in there. And Deuce is not taller than number 5, Ty, who got up and got the interception.
Yeah, and I also just think at this point in the game, we should be recognizing him as a threat and not be giving him any easy balls, any questionable balls that he's able to grab and take advantage of.
All right, so they're gonna go for 2 here, which, I mean, down 18. If you do the math, it's gonna be timeout called by the Titans. If you do the math on this, if they get the 2, that would cut it to 16, and in theory, 2 more touchdowns plus 2-point conversions.
Right.
So you might as well go for 2.
Yeah.
If you're Flint Hill. And Trinity called a timeout. I think they just didn't exactly have the personnel they wanted on the field.
For the 2-point conversion?
I actually thought both teams were a little confused because originally Flint Hill sent the kicker out, but they pulled him back. But, I mean, in theory, if they get this 2-point conversion again, it's a 2-score game. I mean, a lot would have to go wrong from a Trinity standpoint, particularly when Flint Hill has no timeouts. So the Titans, if they can just get 1 or 2 first downs, but also, onside kicks are part of the game. That was a huge factor in the state semifinal loss last year that the Titans had against Benedictine. So it's not over just yet.
Yeah, these Titans have to get that passing game going. Granted, Titans fans are used to seeing Tegan Logan, who was very, very, very good, throwing to Davion, who is going to college, Deuce, who went D1, and Zay, who went to UVA. So he's used to throwing to tall targets and amazing wide receivers, but now he's throwing to smaller targets who are still great, but just smaller.
Right.
Yeah, so that 2-point conversion was no good. And speaking of guys a little on the smaller side, it was Josiah Walker who was in perfect coverage to deny that 2-point conversion.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Josiah is regardless of his height, that kid can get off the ground. He has some serious air that he can catch.
Yeah, he's I hate to sound repetitive because we've talked about this with several other guys, but he's definitely one of the hardest workers on the team in terms of the weight room and just working on his quickness, his agility, and you see the dividends it's paid where he's now starting for the 2nd year in a row as just a junior and a guy who's probably only 5'7", maybe 5'8" tops at the cornerback position. I'd be interested to see, are they going to kick it deep? Will they try some sort of onside kick? They do try an onside kick, and it is recovered.
Carson Parks grabbed it.
By Carson Parks. I mean, Carson's pretty much done it all today with 3 touchdowns. He almost prevented that pick 6. He was the one Titan who nearly got to Harris, and then this time he does a great job with the recovery on the onside kick. So Trinity will take over at the 47 with 4:29 to go and Flint Hill out of timeouts. A couple first downs away from sealing this one.
Yeah, and I don't expect a lot of passes here. I expect the last 4 minutes of the game to be like hard-mouth football, front 7 versus front 7. The game now will be won in the trenches, and Trinity has controlled that all day, but coming down to the wire where the game is definitely not over yet. We have to see if the Trinity offensive line will be up for the task.
And Carson's going to get gain of about 5 yards on that play.
Yeah, it's a 4-yard gain. Gets it across midfield, gets that clock moving.
Yeah, I think that's what the Titans are looking to do. Trying to score, but also trying to take that clock down so Flint Hill doesn't have time to try to do anything offensively.
And I heard Coach Mickens' voice there telling Deke not to snap it until deep into the play clock, and they'll let the clock run as much as they can. Finally do snap it, and another handoff to the
Carson Parks.
Yeah, to the man of the day, Carson Parks.
No kidding. Gain of about 5 more.
That actually probably ends up being better that they didn't get the first down there, because now you have an extra play to get that first down. And when you do get it, you're bleeding more time off the clock. So after this play is snapped, the clock will be under 2 minutes. Whereas if you got the first down, it would be a lot harder to get that clock rolling how you want it to.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So 3rd and 1, or just over 3 minutes left. And once again, they're going to let the play clock run into single digits. Carson will get the first down, break a tackle, breaks another, and he keeps going. That ends up being a 17-yard gain.
First down, Titans.
And Carson Parks has just been phenomenal today on what was a very rainy, wet day. He's got to be over 200 yards rushing now, along with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's just a hard piece of running. He's bouncing off tackles. He's been doing it all game. We usually see high school running backs bounce off tackles in the first, second quarter, but then run out of gas in the third, fourth quarter. It become easy to tackle, like just one-on-one. But Carson Parks has been chugging all game, and it usually takes about 2 to 3 people to tackle him, no matter where he is in the field, even in the middle of the field where there's all those guys still fighting for extra yards.
It goes to Carson Parks again, and he breaks through. Finally brought down, and he's brought down by the face mask. He's inside the 10, and Ty Harris did tackle him, but the flag came out, and I think they're going to tack on half the distance for a face mask here as well.
Ideally, you don't want him going out of bounds there as well. It stops the clock, but the penalty would have stopped it anyway, unless – because wouldn't it keep running after the –
Yeah,
but since he got out of bounds, clock stops, and now you only have 4 plays to try and get this – clock down as much as you can.
They're still discussing the penalty.
I think,
and they are going to wave it off. Yeah, Harris, I guess, convinced them that it wasn't the face mask that he grabbed. Tough to tell from up here, but regardless, it does give the Titans a first down just inside the 10-yard line. And by the time they snap the ball again, we'll be under 2 minutes to go. But yet another great run for Carson there. The man just cannot be stopped today.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing I respect about Carson. It doesn't matter that it's the 4th quarter. It doesn't matter that it's 2 minutes left. He's going to go until he can't go anymore.
And there's Parks again. Carries it down to the 7. It'll be 2nd and goal.
I think in this situation, Coach Bell will tell his players to maybe, or tell Carson maybe, like, don't score if he gets close, because after this play, it'll be down to under a minute, and you probably do want to get another play off. It's highly unlikely that after that minute goes down that Flint Hill can come back and win, but you don't want anything, like, crazy to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't even want to leave the possibility on the table.
And they get it off with just 1 on the shot clock, or the play clock, I should say, and it's a little sort of pocket pass to Devion Brown. Technically, it was a forward pass, so we can add that to Deke's stats, but it went for no gain. And the play clock is about 7 seconds behind. What I'm trying to say is the game clock has 7 additional seconds, so they cannot run the clock out. They will have to get off at least 1 more play. So it's 3rd and goal. Hey, look, JJ, the down marker's working again.
Oh, probably just got wet.
Yeah, we see the the three over there on the far
that's
sideline.
Huey's grandpa who does it. I saw him earlier. He was banging it on the ground because he couldn't get it to switch.
They were struggling to make that three work.
It was
All
funny.
right, so Deke is just going to take a knee here on third down, and that will do it. So your final score is going to be Trinity Episcopal 45, Flint Hill 27. The Titans improved to 5-0. The Huskies will drop to 0-5, but I thought a really valiant effort by the Huskies today in a game that they were, definitely a big underdog. They hung tough, and it was close until really late in the third quarter. Stick around. We're going to try and get a post-game interview. I'm going to try and get Carson Parks up here to talk about what an incredible day he had. So, Titan fans, stick around. We're going to let the guys shake hands, and then we're going to try and get Carson up here. As we're waiting for that, JJ, you're up here all day, locked in. Give us your thoughts on the game, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you my player of the game is Carson Parks. But if you want to vote for a player of the game as well, guys, have at it.
No, yeah, Carson Parks is my player of the game. They came out, the Titans came out very slow in the first quarter. We saw the fumble that led to the 7-0 deficit, and then offense came down. Carson Parks 80-yard drive, got the touchdown, and then we saw the defense also once again come out slow, let up another touchdown, which had them go down 14-7, which is really the last time they went down in the entire game. So yeah, they picked it up from the second quarter on. But if you're Coach Mickens, you have to tell your team that we cannot come out the locker room slow anymore with these last 4 games that they have, which consist of Benedictine, Glen Allen, St. Chris, and then the one team, the great team from DC. So all 4 hard games that they have to play to end the season. So like I said, great game from the Titans, great game from the offense. And, but there's a lot to improve on for the Titans. What about you, Abby?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Carson Parks being the player of the game. I think that he's such a big player that stepped up so largely in the offense this year, and I feel like he's opened up a lot of opportunities. I feel like, in the past 2 years, like our go-tos where you'd hit that receiver, you'd hit that Isaiah Robinson, you'd hit that Fat Rat, you'd hit that Deuce Edwards, but, when the only of those that are still here at Trinity is Fat Rat, you got to figure something else out. You got to try something new, and I think that both Carson and CJ have been such a great addition to the offense, and they kind of open up a whole new multitude of plays, multitude of things we can do when we can rush that ball as much as we do. So, yeah, I definitely think that Carson's going to be a huge help to the offense this year, and I look forward to seeing what CJ can do in the coming years once Carson and myself graduate. But, yeah, overall, I think this was a great game. I think that, it was a little bit rocky there at the start, with the Flint Hill taking back the kickoff to almost score. Well, they ended up scoring, but not on the first drive. But I think the Titans definitely stepped up, got it together a little bit, but I also think Flint Hill had a great game. I think there were a lot of players on Flint Hill who had a really great game. The one who had 5 touchdowns, 5? 4 touchdowns, he was definitely a force to be reckoned with, and he worked really hard. And I do see Mr. Hamlin does, in fact, have Carson Parks with him. So I will actually hop off, and I will give my headset to Carson Parks. Here, give him this. It's all you.
All right, folks, if you're still with us, I hope that you are. We were able to get Carson Parks for a post-game interview. Thank you, Carson, who's been running all over this field today, and then we had to run him up here to the booth. But, Carson, unofficially, you're over 200 yards on the day, 3 touchdowns. You've already had an incredible season. That puts you up to 10 touchdowns on the season. And can you just talk about what was going through your mind today? The game plan clearly was to get you involved early and often.
Yeah, we saw the forecast, a whole lot of rain, so all we were talking about was just protecting that ball. So the air game right away wasn't really in our game plan. But those the front seven in front of me, they do their thing every practice, every game, and I give it all to them.
Well, we were talking about on the broadcast that, yes, the O-line was awesome today, but also a lot of your yards came after contact, breaking tackles, getting through into the second level and making guys miss and just showing off your speed. And I think one thing that's obvious to everyone as part of this program is how hard you've worked You had a good impact last year in your first year as a Titan, but now as a senior, I mean, you've stepped up and truly become, the man in the backfield. And can you just tell the fans about all the work you put in to get to where you are today?
Just this summer, day in and day out, all my teammates helping me, my family supporting me. I've been playing football ever since I was little. This is all I've ever wanted. So the drive this past summer, I want to play college football. So, that's been on my mind. But after the last game we played last year, that's a bigger priority right now. We need to get back there and get the job done.
Yeah, and JJ and I were talking about, I wasn't sure what your college prospects have looked like, but we both agree, there is a program out there that, a lot of programs out there that you could help, because you do it all in the running game, from blocking, which a lot of guys at this level don't do a great job of, but you do a good job. You pick up blitzers. We already talked about your vision is great, making guys miss, using your track star speed, and then also just fighting through contact. So how is that recruitment going, and what are you looking for in a next destination?
It's going well. I have a few game day visits lined up with a few schools I'm really interested in. They're showing some interest in me. So, I'm focused on that because that's my future, but that's not my big focus. My big focus is the end of this season, just pushing through. So, I have a few lined up. I'm talking to a few schools, but my big priority is getting through these last games.
And then just one more thing. In addition to your huge day on the ground, you recovered the onside kick, which, with an 18-point lead, I don't think it was too stressful, but we know onside kicks have played a big role in games in the past, and you were able to get on that. Even the pick six, as much as you'd run, I saw you sprint across and at least try to make the tackle. Their guy did a nice job with the cutback there, but can you just talk to our fans about how it's not just the running game, but just all phases that you're willing and able to contribute in?
Man, after the last game last year, I'm trying to do everything I can to make whatever impact I can, whether it's a tackle, whether it's running a ball, catching a ball, making a block. This is a team sport. You got to do what you can do for the team. You're not always getting the ball. So you got to do what you can for your teammates and help them get the ball and just help come out with the win ultimately.
All right, I said that was the last question, but I got to ask you one more because this just popped in my head. But for you, as someone, you moved here from out of state, and so you haven't been here all 4 years, but what does this brotherhood of your Titan football team and just this Trinity Episcopal community mean to you as someone who just arrived just a little over a year and a half ago?
Right when I got here, the first thing I saw was how much these guys love each other, and they embraced me right away. That was one of the big things, and I'm so grateful for that. And that's just pushed me to love this team as like my brothers. They're my brothers now. And so coming here, even though this is my second full year, it's just, I'm with a whole bunch of other guys who love football. I love football. They love football. So there's nothing better I can ask for. Those are my brothers.
That's great to hear, and just an incredible game today. Easily, you were our unanimous player of the game, and 5-0. Keep it rolling, and thanks so much for joining us after the game. I know you want to get with your brothers and celebrate and get cleaned up, but really you set the tone from the first possession when every single play was Carson Parks. You carried it the whole way, 80 yards down the field, and finished it with a touchdown and just went on from there. So congratulations, young man. You did a phenomenal job. We're all proud of you, and good luck next week and the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody who joined us today on the live stream. If there's any Flint Hill fans still with us, we definitely wish you all best of luck the rest of the season, and you guys showed a lot of fight today. And for Titan Nation, this is a special team, man. Keep tuning in. We'll be back next Saturday for the homecoming game, 1 o'clock against Anacostia High School. And then the whole rest of the schedule lines up with huge challenges at St. Christopher's, who has a great team this year. The big Friday night at Glen Allen, a big 5A public school. And then the final home game of the regular season back at Aycock Stadium, the game against the Cadets, and hopefully state play to come after that. JJ, any final thoughts from you?
Nah, just a great game. The Titans are looking good for the last 4 games, but it will be very hard. We've seen that the first 4 games for them were pretty easy. They only allowed about 35 points in 4 games, but these last 4 games are going to have to really lock in during practice and just focus, because it's not going to be easy.
All right, well, I want to thank everybody involved in the broadcast today. Executive producer Carter Tyree, producer Briggs Pinar, Abby Miller, who joined us for the second half, TSPN's president, and, of course, J.J. Welcher, who has done an incredible job with color commentary all year. I'm Rick Hamlin. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Go Titans. We'll see you next week.